welcome to the Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse Shopping Network. Shipping Goblin Bob here is going to tell you all about our new Platinum Edition. It's my favorite.
Thanks, George. Friends, are you tired of putting a cat, a flask of poison, and a source of radiation into a sealed box and having to settle for a cat that's dead or alive? Well, Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse has the product for you. Introducing the Schrodinger's Cat Platinum Edition. With the Schrodinger's Platinum Box, you can have both versions of your pet at the same time. Free yourself from objective collapse and enjoy a cat that simultaneously exists in two decoherent realities. It's time for atomic indeterminacy to enter the macroscopic domain. It's time for Schrodinger's Cat Platinum Edition.
Yeah. She's totally dead. But totally alive.
Only from Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. Simultaneously available and sold out now.
In a world wrought with demons, going to hell is the only way to get redemption. 5 adventures, 1 mission. This spring, join us as we descend into Avernus, the first layer of hell. Action, fire, brimstone. If you make a deal with the devil, you better be prepared to dance. Band of Badgers, Descent into Avernus, coming this May.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mythic North. I'm El, and welcome back to KingCon, everybody, and Band of Batters. Good to see you all. Hope you're all well. Thank you once again for joining us on this special day. We are going to be playing part 2 of The Silver of the Sea for episode 4, I think, now of this. Oh my gosh, we're on episode 4. When did that happen? Of course, I won't be doing this all by myself because that would be ridiculous. Today, I have my fantastic players with me. I will go through them all in order of how I see them, and they will all introduce themselves. Guys, please feel free to say your name, where people can find you on the internet, and throw in your pronouns for funsies. We will start today with Joe.
Hello, yeah, I'm Joe, and I am playing Father Pavel. I'm a good demon, honest on all things, and yeah, he, him. So, hello.
Cool beans, cool beans. Ree.
Hi.
Who are you, girl?
I have no idea. Who am I? This is an existential question.
Who is this?
You can find me as Re.created or Re.creates or Romeo Indigo Echo in most places, or just R-I-E. Re. That's me. I'm she, her. Pretty much all the time. And yeah, excited to be here. I play Ingrid. She's a mess. This is all.
Cool. And T, how are you doing?
Yo, I am doing rather swellingly, especially as it is Tuesday, which means spoopy times. I'm Plasticity's name, RPG's the game, VAESEN this time. Apparently I do have a Twitter at Plasticity, which I dug up just to retweet this thing. Usually him as far as I'm aware. I found out 2 apparently, because I forgot that like 3 times now. And playing Dr. Anki, who will hopefully survive, and if not, I'm going to take all of you bastards with me.
Valid. And you may have noticed a slight change in our lineup today. Unfortunately, we have lost the wonderful Holly, who has stepped back due to personal reasons, but we love her very much and wish her all the best. We also do not have our special guest, Jay Stillepet from Better Backstories with us today. We also wish her all the best. Go and check out Better Backstories on Twitter and at her store and various places around the interwebs. It's a very cool RPG building game. But instead of Holly, we have a new party member loading in today in the wonderful Jarrus. Jarrus, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Jarrus, or at Dangerous on Twitter. Hello, pronouns are he, him, and I am playing a new person who is may be familiar to if people know me outside of TTRPGs, potentially as Alexander Kruger.
Indeed, very excited, very excited. Once again, I'm Elle, my pronouns are he, him. You can find me at Gaelic Chaotic, various places around the internet. I'm very predictable. As always, special thanks to our supporters, especially Beadle and Grims and the wonderful Free League, who wrote and produced and published the wonderful game we'll be playing today, VAESEN, and all of the mysteries within. Please go and hunt them down on Twitter and various places. They're lovely, and we want to give them all the support that they've given us. Also, in related to VAESEN news, we will be giving away a copy of the core rulebook after the break, which is awesome. You get to have this thing.
Such a good
look at
rulebook.
it. Look at this. Look
It's
at this beautiful
very
thing.
pretty.
You'll be getting the PDF, so you won't have it, the big, heavy, thick thing that this is, but you'll still get to see it, and it's cool and stuff. You can run your own thing. Right, so stick around for that stuff happening, and also various other things happening on Band of Badgers, like the podcast run by the wonderful Chris, aka Dark. He's great. We love him. Go listen to the podcast on Podbean and various places around the internet. Obviously, oh shit, where's my thingy? Before we begin, VAESEN is a bit of a dark and spooky tale, full of dark and spooky things that sometimes may get a little bit OC much. If that is not your bag, baby, when I flash these lights red, please run away and get a cup of tea or step away for a bit. Defend your brains. I do not wish to cause any OC stress today. So yes, and we have a mechanism set up for the players here as well. So if anyone gives me the no-go, we will switch scenes. So if that ever happens, that's why. Okay, so I think that's about it for our OC announcements. Who is ready to once again dive into the Mythic North?
That's a trick question and you know it.
It so is.
Born ready.
Great.
I was born naked and screaming.
Yes. Dragged
The
out of
wind will all go out.
the void, for sure. So, last time on VAESEN, for the first half of our mystery, the Silver of the Sea, our Thursday's children were asked by Detective Knight, their mysterious friend in Uppsala, to help a friend of his, the priest Jeremias Ugdrin, to investigate a series of foul play. Making their way from Uppsala down to the Fjällbacka archipelago, Jeremias told them of a murder, the victim being his mentor, Vicar Carl Eric Hedquest, who had gotten on the wrong side of the herring baron, Zacharias Amundsen, with tragic results. On the night the man disappeared, a new moon, much like the night the group have arrived on, a brother of the Amundsen family also went missing, Paul, one of the triplets. The vicar was found with a point-blank bullet wound to the back of the head a couple of days later. Paul has not yet been found, but the gang did find out that the man himself was last heard arguing with his brothers and mother with the now deceased vicar outside of the herring warehouse on Wrecker Island. During their investigation of the Wrecker Inn, owned by the Amundsens, who now own much of the archipelago due to their stranglehold on the herring industry, Dr. Anki spotted a familiar figure, Olaus Klint from the Witch Cat. However, he disappeared deeper into the inn, and she was unable to find and confront him. Diving straight into the mystery, as usual, our splendid Thursday's children went straight to the warehouse, successfully breaking in whilst two of them distracted the foreman, and retrieving a mysterious and very locked briefcase. They then left this briefcase at the inn and proceeded to make their way to the Herring Baron's residence, accepting his previously extended offer of taking dinner with him. Throughout all of this, strangeness has of course been afoot. Visions of drowning, spitting up salt water, a strange, unfamiliar voice, singing an unknown song. So that is where we find Father Pavel, Dr. Anki, Ingrid, Esther, and Chester currently, with a social call to make and a bluffed herring business deal to strike, somewhere in the makings of it. So we once again drive back into the Wrecker Island, and as we traverse up this bit of dirt with its shantytown, the bright yellow herring warehouse, the inn that is far too nice to be in a place like this, the townhouse that is about 3 stories tall and again shows signs of recent renovations. You all enter this place as Lura, the housemaid to the Amundsens, ushers you all upstairs towards the first floor and into a long corridor. At one end is another ornate staircase leading up and rooms with gilded handles on either side. You are ushered into a door directly on your right. As you step in, it is closed behind you. Around you is an ornate dining room, all gold and deep blue, tapestries of lush, thick material covering every inch of wall where there is not a window looking out to sea. The dying light reflecting off of the glinting waves casts a luxurious tangerine glow around the room, reflecting off of the pure silver dinnerware and porcelain plates that make up place settings around the mahogany table. Zacharias stands at the head of the table, smiling at you in welcome. He is flanked by Pete and Abella, who stand behind him, but there is no sign of Pace, the other of the three triplets. He stood there, arms open wide in welcome, and he smiles beatifically, and he says, "Friends, welcome. Do come in, make yourselves comfortable. I have provided you all with place settings. I assume you can find your seats." And with that, he does sit down and sort of look at you all expectantly.
Ingrid begins to wonder if she should have dressed up for this occasion.
Oh, it is not as if anyone else could do that, maybe. But yes, the answer is yes.
Pavel will walk over to the table and look to see where his seat is and who's sitting next to him.
There are no place settings. You seem to have been left to find your seats as you will.
I assume there was a little name.
It seems not for this one, no.
So it's a long sort of square table sort of thing, or is it a round thingamajig?
Yeah, it's a very sort of nice sort of square, well-crafted, heavy mahogany table, yeah.
All right. And then Dr. Anki will simply give a slight curt nod and take whatever chair is closest to her and have a seat. And look to the other, like,
I sit next
come
to her. I just sit next to her.
Yeah.
I'll sort of sit middle table on the opposite side.
Of course, once you're all sort of sat down, Esther and Chester, of course, also take seats. And the Herring Baron sort of smiles and reclines in his seat as the first course is brought out. Seems to be sort of like a nice soup. It's got like quite a heady tang to it, but it's got sort of a mixture of spices in that you can sort of tell right off the bat. I think maybe saffron in there, something very expensive. Dr. Anki, you're like, ooh, it's the good shit. Sort of Zacharias leans back and smiles and says, "So, what brings you all to Wrecker Isle then? It is, of course, my pleasure to welcome you all."
And it is our pleasure to be received. Anki sort of briefly looks over to Chester, then very quietly to herself gives a slight sign. Like, it appears that we are here in search of dealings of the train oil making, as my studious associate here has explained.
Quite. I must admit, it is not every day we get folks such as yourselves from Uppsala University, no less, coming and inquiring about train oil. Quite magnificent, I must say. Usually they send agents and such like.
Why would they send agents?
Oh, you know, tycoons don't usually like to do the dirty work, but I've never seen students be so interested in the herring industry. It seems like a little far out of your way, if you don't mind me saying.
I just like fish.
You just like fish? Well, that's fair. I think a fair few of us do around here. It has been the lifeblood of this archipelago for going on 30 years now.
They smell good.
They do. Well, sometimes.
Well, the world of academia, as so often, moves in its own mysterious ways, and in the spirit of Uppsala in particular, what is there to do if not go out into the world and find what is best, and bring it back if it is worthy?
So you're only here for this business deal there, are you? You're not sightseeing at all?
One cannot necessarily be held poorly against the impulse to see the wonderful sights of the West. The true sea, as it were.
Right. Sort of a
Free
holiday
waters.
then. I see. Interesting. Well, you are, of course, welcome. I do hope that Wrecker Inn was to your liking. It's been a little of a labour of love for myself and my family, you see.
Very nice.
When did your family first? Have you always lived on Wrecker Island? Or?
Oh, Yes, we go back generations and generations of proud Amundsons living around this area. And then, of course, 30 years ago, when the herring returned, well, we saw business opportunity where opportunity rises.
Why did they return? Do you know, or?
Well, it's quite the mystery. I have heard some scientists say it's to do with perhaps the warming of the waters in the area, perhaps a new current coming in from somewhere. I'm not entirely sure of the science of it myself. I'm a businessman, not a student, unlike these fine folk here. Perhaps they can elucidate a little further. Can all of you please roll an empathy observation check?
I don't put much stock in science myself.
Oh, I get a +2 to my empathy observation checks from my magic thing that I did before I got here.
No. Zacharias kind of looks at you, Father Pavel, and says, well, I suppose faith works in its own methodologies and manners, doesn't it?
Correct, yes.
I remember I have +2 to failure in this. Nada.
I rolled 1. And I've used my advantage, which is the empathy observation +2 from the studying and preparation we did for this particular event.
I see.
In which I rolled around in some fish guts.
Ingrid, Pavel, he's lying. Through his teeth.
I'm just gonna kick Anki under the table in her shins, like...
And Father Pavel, with 2 successes, you see him very clearly looking at his mother, at Abella, with a kind of knowing look as he tells this lie.
So prior to the herring coming back, what did your family do for income and keep up this property?
Well, as you can imagine, I was naught but a young boy for the early days of this isle. In fact, I was born on the year that it started prospering. But beforehand, I believe it was a case of doing anything to make ends meet. It was a little bit rough, as one might say. This area had a terrible reputation, really rather undeserved, one might say. But that is simply my opinion. And of course, times have since long moved on.
I get what you're saying.
Good.
So you've never truly lived the hardships that your parents might have, for example?
No, not a chance. My dear mother here has gone through much to maintain this here island archipelago and keep it in good stead. And I simply intend to carry on the legacy.
You've done a wonderful job, madam.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank you
wasn't
so much.
talking to you.
Oh,
I was
well then.
talking to your mother.
Mother, she likes the cut of your jib, one might say. Abella sort of looks at you, Ingrid, and sort of gives you a grunt of acknowledgement, but doesn't really respond beyond that.
Oh? Does the mother still have a shotgun here?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's not
Okay,
like that the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's currently propped up against the wall, but it's here.
It's within arm's reach.
Oh yeah. As you're all sort of having this conversation, you notice as behind you the doors open once again, and the housemaid Lyra pokes her head in and she says, more guests here, sir. Should I show them in? Yes, please, Bella. Please do. And as she ducks out once more, it's about 10 seconds before the doors open again, and in walk 2 men. One of whom you recognize. Dr. Anki, this is a person you saw very recently. Olaus Clint, the man who commissioned your services to help with the haunting at the Witch Cat, walks in, accompanied by another gentleman who you do not recognize. Jerris, can you please describe your character for us?
Hello. He is fairly, average height, but quite well built, wearing mostly fur and canvas clothing, very heavy set, a rifle slung over his shoulder, a sort of almost babushka style scarf like round his neck, with a I'm trying to think of like very similar beard to what I have, long hair tied back, and he looks about 30 pounds heavier because of the clothing that he's wearing.
Cool. As you both walk in, Alexander, you are being accompanied by, obviously, Olaus. Both of you are ushered in. The doors are once again closed behind you. Laura disappears off to her duties. And Zacharias does stand as you both come in and says, "Friends, such a pleasure to see you. So glad you could make it. Please take your seats, take your seats. You're just in time for the first course." And Olaus does sort of give you a nod and walk down.
Like?
Oh, the newcomers specifically.
What
Olaus.
does Alex smell like? Because I know what Olaf.
What does Alex smell like?
What would he smell like?
The weirdest thing to be asked about your character off the bat.
What does your character smell like, Jairus?
Oddly, he'll smell like the outside, so he'll probably smell like a recent sea voyage. But at the same time, there's a weird hint of like lavender, which seems to permeate his coat.
Of course, it is a little difficult to sort of smell anything in this room because the whole room, the air seems to be dense with the smell of like a heavy perfume, like a very heavy perfume. And you're not entirely sure who it's coming from, but it's almost oppressive. It's compared to the luxuriousness of the surroundings, it honestly seems quite tacky. Yeah, as the newcomers sit down, Zacharias just says, "I do hope you all don't mind me sort of introducing some new guests to you today. I do have visitors here on the Isle other than yourself. These are my good friends Olaus and Alexander, business partners of mine."
Charmed.
Hello.
Olaus kind of looks around at you all and says, "Well, good to see you all again."
Anki's eyes will not leave the newcomer until he sits down.
Yeah, they very much both sit down.
There is an ungodly thud as his coat hits the floor. He just as he takes off, and he's wearing vaguely militaristic garb underneath.
Question.
Possible answer.
Can I try to identify this?
Yeah, of course you can.
Because red flags are rising.
Roll me, what should we have? Logic investigation for this, since you're looking for a specific thing.
Yeah, logic investigation. Gotcha.
Yeah, go on. As a treat. That's
a 6.
A 6. Great. Okay, success. Jairus, what would you say is the heaviest item in Alexander's coat? And what kind of discernible shapes?
I mean, the coat itself is heavy as hell, but he doesn't seem to have a lot of it. Like, you don't hear like jangling or anything like in his pockets or anything, but the combination of both just the rifle and the heaviness of the coat seems to, I would describe it as very cold weather gear, but again vaguely militaristic.
I just have one question to that, and that is this in any way in the style of our eastern neighbors, the Tsardom of Russia?
Is it? I mean, like, Jairus, give me a nod in Discord, yay or nay.
Is it Russian? Is what the question?
Yes.
Yeah. Is the militaristic part in
Russian.
Arguably speaking, the country of this origin no longer exists. Part of Russia now.
Hey, we have something in common. Excellent.
Well, friends all coming together to enjoy a meal. I do so enjoy this. It's so rare that we get visitors of a kind to invite to dinner. As one can imagine, we're very industrial here, so it tends to be just sort of the sailors and shipwrights who come by, and in general they're happy enough to sit by the inn, but it is nice to have sort of a more educated discussion with folks such as yourselves.
It's very kind of you to say so. And what was it? We're eating soup at the minute.
Yes.
Did you say?
Are they eating the
Has
soup?
anybody stopped eating?
Yeah.
Started eating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zacharias is dug in.
Yeah. So I'll dig in and just like take a slurp of soup.
I'm going to
and
wait to
just,
see
like,
what happens
wipe
to
my,
Father
wipe my
Pavel.
beard. Yeah, I know.
Nothing happens. It's actually really nice, Father Pavel. You think that sort of the
Is it?
spices and the way that it has been made, it seems like an old family recipe of some sort, you might imagine. See, as you're sort of eating, Father Pavel says, I did notice that you had been hanging out with that young man, that interesting young man. What is his name? Jeremias, I think is his name. Yes, he is a poor troubled fellow. I do hope he's found some solace in your company.
I believe so. I agree as well. He's very troubled.
Poor
think-
man.
Yes. He seems to think that there's been strange goings on.
Really? Dreadful.
Mm.
Oh dear. However so.
Have you heard of any like ruckuses outside the fish factory?
Ruckuses. Ooh, well, I'm not entirely sure. I tend to sort of sequester myself in my office a lot of the time, and very busy with business, as one might understand. But no, it's there was a little bit of a kerfuffle, I might say, a month back. It seemed to be this vicar had a mind to come and convert some of the sea peoples around here, and they didn't take too kindly to it. He found himself rather rudely told to leave, and when he did not, he was swiftly corralled to the exit. Other than
Noted.
that, I'm not entirely sure. As far as I know, he just ran afoul of some brigands.
Do you know what Sorry, I was going to say, do you know what individuals corralled him?
Oh, yes. Well, of course, we do have our own personal sort of security, one might say. At the inn, we can't just be having anyone coming in and causing a fuss. So I do have my brother here, my brother Paul, my brother Pete, and the other Pace, keeping track. I'm so sorry. It's quite recent, actually. One of my brothers has left for the Mediterranean, and well, it's odd without him here. I still expect him sort of running around, but obviously he's otherwise engaged. Yes.
Okay.
If you would humor a question as our most gracious host,
Oh, of course.
Mr. Amundsen.
Mm.
Although obviously in these enlightened times, there is only so much patience one can have for somebody who is particularly pushy with their looks. Oh, that's slightly to Pavel. Interpretations of
Ingrid's
the world.
just like,
However, I must say, in all my years, it is very uncommon for me to find a fishing community without, how shall we say, a gathering of worship for the sea can often be such a cruel mistress, if a giving one.
Oh, yes, you're quite right. I mean, speaking for Wrecker Isle, personally, this is a private institutional island, one of industry. We don't really have the funds to build ourselves a specific church. That would obviously take revenue streams away from the business, and it wouldn't really make a good deal of sense for us personally. But we do obviously provide our support and arms to the church over in Fjallbacka, and we provide our support in that way to the church so that our seafaring folk who come here may still have a place to worship when they wish to.
And I imagine it would be rather impractical to have to set up some sort of church or whatever when there is so much more place for industry.
Precisely. It's a very small spit of land. We tend to try and use it as wisely as possible.
It has thus far given a solid first impression.
Glad to hear it. I'm very glad to hear it. But the hour grows quite late. Wouldn't you agree, friends? Wouldn't want you to all miss your next appointment, really. It'd be quite a shame.
My next appointment is bed.
Olaus kind of looks over at you, Alexander. And as sort of Olaus and Zacharias exchange this look, Olaus looks over at Alexander, sort of smirks, and he says, "It's nothing personal, it's just business." And at that moment, you all feel something in your minds begin to take hold. You feel a compression at your temples, something alien and invading, as Zacharias' influence sort of seems to extend out from himself. And as you take in what you've just heard and feel this and prepare to leap to your feet and to call out, you feel this alien invader try and forcibly pull you from the conscious world and into a darkness, into a sort of haunting, heartbreakingly beautiful voice that begins to sing somewhere deep within you. Can you all please roll me observation?
Observation, you say?
And let's just observation.
Just observation, no attribute.
Indeed.
I got a success.
How do I roll 0 dice?
You automatically fail.
Okay.
I rolled a 5, so I'm assuming
Failed.
that's gone.
Yeah.
Only the sixes
fine.
count, and I got
I want
mine.
it stated as well that when he turns and tells that to Alexander, he has instinctively grabbed the nearest knife that he can, and as soon as everything starts to get a bit weird, he starts just wobbling with it and unable to move.
Yeah.
But he has it, and he's
Okay,
ready, and he
you do
wants
have
to
the knife.
stab someone.
Good to know. Good to know. Who got what then? 1 success, 0, 0, 0.
I got the knowledge that you actually can roll 0d6s.
Yeah. As you sort of all hear this voice, it begins to clarify. And whilst you don't know the language, you're not even sure if it is a language. You think it's perhaps more of a. Well, you're not sure. It's certainly not human, whatever it is. It's more of a collection of sounds that seem to be imitating language, but not quite getting there. And as you hear this, it is truly beautiful. It is heartbreaking. It sounds like a lullaby. And the singer, you feel them reaching out for you, and you feel these cold, clammy hands slowly enclose around your head. And as they close over your eyes, the darkness takes you. Ingrid, the voice in your mind is afraid. It's panicking. You have never heard them panic before, but as this voice takes hold, it does. And it says, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up," trying to drown out the voice. And at the same time, you look over at Chester and you see the confusion in his face. He seems to be having this similar thing happen where he's looking back and forth as if two voices are discussing on either side of his head at the same time. And you hear it as at the same time, two voices, one from Chester's head and one from your own, Ingrid, both yell, "Shut up!" at the same time in tandem. And these voices turn to each other and acknowledge the other and seem to quake in fear at whatever is trying to force them into the blackness. And they do not want to go, but they can't help it. You are strong enough. But as you sink into the blackness, you hear this alien voice clarify, and the singing stops just long enough for a phrase that you do understand that says, "Welcome, friends. All will be well. We just want your vessels, not you." And it's as this happens that you fall asleep, drifting into the deep sleeps of the dreams that you had before, swimming, being dragged down, or swimming and dragging something down with you.
But I don't even own a boat.
But you don't even own a boat.
Just spike the soup. Dunk.
Yeah.
Then I drown in soup.
Yeah.
Shit. Does anybody else, when this happens, sit there and fidget with all of their dice because they don't know what to do?
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
like-
That's it's Mathrock Central.
Okay.
Shiny Bathrock, please help me.
As you tread the water in your dreams here, stuck
Uh-oh.
in this dream state, you feel the cold ocean begin to fill your lungs as you are stuck in this endless void of cold and dark and wet and horror. You can feel nothing but the agony of your lungs aching for the air that it cannot reach. Out of habit more than anything, wondering at the lack of stinging in your eyes despite the salt water, you open them to get an idea of where you are, and the vision has changed. This time, you are not the creature is not you, but there is a boat. There is a boat sailing off into dark waters with no guiding light but the stars and the brilliant band of the Milky Way up ahead. The moon is nowhere to be seen, as if swept out of the sky, and the last dying rays of the evening sun glow faintly on the western horizon. The cliffs and islets of the archipelago cower around you like dark shadows against the glittering water. As the hours go by, maybe days, the pink of the horizon turns into purple before it dwindles and fades. The bow of the vessel before you cuts relentlessly through the waves, and you pass through the last of the islands and find yourself alone on the vast Black Sea. The breeze is gentle here. The stars are winking into life, erasing the line between the sea and sky. A glowing light suddenly appears in the water around you. A symphony of sea fire and turquoise, blue and green dances around the vessel so bright it hurts your eyes. In the depths below, a wondrous sight emerges. A huge palace of gold and silver with slender arches and narrow towers shimmering below at the bottom of the sea. The sight bewitches your senses, making you want to slip silently into the water and go down, 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 and not ever, ever come back. The sharp voice of someone on the boat, a skipper perhaps, breaks the spell. The underwater city fades. Some hundreds of meters in front of you, there is now an island, a jaggy, rocked silhouette that rumbles a low, humming welcome. As the vibration of the call rumbles in the back of your mind, at the back of your teeth, you feel it. You find yourself sinking again, drifting black beneath the endless waves. And at that moment, you feel that same cold, clammy hand wrap around your ankle and drag you down. As reality swims back into view, you find yourselves on the floor of a cramped, dark room. It's almost pitch black in here. Dim light at best, and the light seems to what light there is seems to sort of tilt and fracture at odd angles through the cracks in the walls that allow in dappled moonlight. Seems to be some sort of a shed, maybe? No flooring except the rock, dirt, and scrubland beneath. The walls are poorly maintained and ramshackle, and there are no windows. The one door is bloated in its frame up ahead, and as you look around the room, it is barren apart from those in here with you. Father Pavel, Ingrid, Dr. Anki, Alexander, no Esther, no Chester, no Tova.
No Tova.
What was in that soup?
That was not the soup, or this would be a particularly different kind of splitting headache.
I didn't eat the soup.
Also, there is Ingrid's idea.
What? I don't have any ideas.
Statement, clarification, witness, whatever. God! Who is this man?
I know. You're the one that was eyeing him up at the dinner table.
He's in the corner. He has a tiny little, compact mirror out, and he's just whispering things into it while looking himself in the eyes. And as you say that, it snaps shut, and he looks up at you and goes, I was hired to work alongside the man at the dinner table with me. So my guess of what happened is as good as yours.
And I take it looks back to Ingrid and Father Pavel, that whatever I just experienced is slightly similar to that which you talked of earlier?
Yes, very much so, but expanded on.
You seem to not.
Previously, we were just being dragged.
Well, I hope this is not an effect of the soup. Or if it is rather that and not how it manners. But stranger and fellow victim associate of Mr. Clint. Did we catch her name, or am I entirely still out to sea?
Sergeant Alexander Kruger.
Alex.
Sergeant.
Feel free to call me Alexander.
Okay.
Sergeant Kruger. It is a... Hello. Dr. Anki Salo. This is Father Pavel, and this here is Ingrid. We will be your fellow escapees this evening. If all goes well.
Wait, where are we?
We are.
Point of order, yes.
Hmm.
Can
We
we
still have
like
our possessions.
Yes, you do.
look through one of the cracks and see what we can see the other side of like the door? Or...
Yeah, of course you can. Roll me a, let's say, logic and vigilance for this one.
I'd love to help out if you want to.
Yeah, anyone who is also trying to look out through the cracks of this rundown shed may also help with the roll. Add 1 dice for every person who is helping. So
I
Dr.
will
Anki is
also
helping.
help.
Ingrid is helping.
Is there a door?
There is. It is a very sort of moisture, bloated, salt-smelling door. Seems to have been beaten by many a wave and withstanded it.
3 successes.
By Father MF Pavel.
Yeah, you have peer through these cracks in the walls, sort of with your friends helping you. You say, no, there's a better one over here. And Ingrid says, that's rubbish, there's one here. Sort of between you, you kind
There's
of
one here,
navigate the
stab
shed.
one.
Exactly. You navigate the shed and begin to find a better way. Ingrid, you sort of jam your knife into the wall, make one of the holes bigger, and it's like, oh, jeez, and just to avoid getting stabbed, Father Pavel. You spear through this hole, and you see out on the shoreline the Amundsen family with their backs to you, and you hear, carried by the sea breeze, 2 voices, one of which you recognize as Zacharias's, and another that you do not recognize except for the one you just heard in your mind. It is a lilting sing-song lullaby tone that may or may not be actual words, but Zacharias seems to know enough about it to understand it. Alexander, you know what it's saying. It's talking about the tribute. And as Father Pavel, you keep peering through these cracks, Zacharias moves aside slightly, enough for you to see a humanoid creature, half in and half out of the water, long flowing ebony hair that falls down in seaweed-like tresses and hits the water, pooling about around them. They are otherworldly beautiful. They are smooth-skinned, apart from sort of where it raises in sort of hackle-like texture, glimmering in the moonlight as sort of scales, perhaps. There are raised slits on either side of their neck that appear to be red gills, and they have bright silver almond eyes that are fixed on Zacharias. You also see, as it moves slightly, behind them is a very beautiful blue tail that flips up out of the water every now and again, and then disappears back beneath.
What do you see? What do you see?
It looks like they're practicing some sort of witchcraft
Oh,
on the
everything is
seashore.
witchcraft to you. Makes a cup of tea, witchcraft. Makes me a sandwich, witchcraft.
Oh, egg and mayo,
throws
god damn
bones
it.
in a little pile in a ball, Okay, that is actually witchcraft.
Yes.
That's just... Yeah, that's just
Technically
soup.
speaking, tea crafting can be described as witchcraft.
I can go
I'm not
after-
agreeing. I'm just
I
saying.
think raising what looks to be a mere woman from the sea is on a different
excuse
scale
me,
of
one-
witchcraft
Okay,
to
I'm gonna like
making a
scramble
cup
over
of
there
tea.
and, like, shove my eye in the hole because I
Is
want
there-
You see the same thing that he does.
For some reason, I get the feeling that there's like a window, but it's like all looks like soaked up and we can't see out of it. But if we can see cracks, you just see Alexander immediately go to get his rifle and just start like trying to find somewhere to shoot the mermaid through.
They're having a
Sergeant.
conversation. That's not a summoning, it's a conversation.
You do not have conversation with.
Witchcraft.
If you want to go and have a conversation with it, feel free.
First,
Yes,
we
that's
must
a
do
very
this.
good idea.
Wait, because I need to do some actual witchcraft. All right, sit down, put the gun down, sit down. I wish to get out my powdered staghorn because I'm about to mush it all over their faces.
Okay.
Essentially, the powdered staghorn is an item I have that means they can use observation to resist the temptations of a VAESEN. And my brain kind of feels like that's something we should do right now.
You clever motherfucker. Absolutely, you can do that. Oh my god.
You will have to roll 1d6 every time I use it.
Okay.
If you roll a 1, it either runs out or is broken or I have no more of it. That's when it stops being usable. But I'm going to start with putting it on, well, whoever's nearest. So we'll just go with Anki.
Okay, sure. Do I roll that now, or I roll that when a VAESEN makes attempt?
You will roll that now because I need to know if I run out before I get to everybody.
Okay, and only a 1 matters, or?
Yeah, only the 1 matters. So if you roll a 1, that means that's it, I've got no more of it and I can't use it again.
I rolled a 5.
Oh, that's okay then. I could use it again. I move over.
I only have one question before you move on.
Yeah, it does. Does it matter if you have 0 in observation?
Cool, gotcha.
I don't know. That's a question you are going to have to ask.
Yeah, that was the question.
So it adds what, sorry?
Essentially, this is going to be interesting. The effect of it is that you can use observation to resist the temptations of VAESEN. Anki doesn't have any observation.
Okay, so here's what we'll rule it for Dr. Anki then. For Dr. Anki, we will say that you will get an additional dice to this as though Ingrid were helping you. So you will get a dice to your pool for the upcoming scene instead of whatever that is. So yeah, you have more of a chance of succeeding so that the item actually does something for you, because otherwise that's a bit nonsense.
When they use it, there is a risk.
Okay.
Thank you for telling us that after you put it on.
For sure.
Yeah.
This is the Ingrid way.
By the way,
The character will feel unloved and suffers 1 mental condition every hour until someone succeeds with an inspiration.
Way
so
to bury
nothing
the
changes.
lead on those
Excellent.
side effects.
Oh, bloody hell. Okay.
So once
Cool.
once they have to use the powder then messes them up.
Okay. okay.
But you know,
Okay.
either that or get
Sure. Sure.
Here's this
Yeah.
aspirin may cause erectile dysfunction. Why?
Anki hasn't told any of you this is gonna happen. She's just rubbing it on your forehead.
Given that staghorn is actually used as the opposite of erectile dysfunction, that is an interesting way to roll this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
As it
Great.
happens,
Cool.
This is page 123 or 127. I'm not sure. The PDF is a bit strange in Adobe.
That is fine. Okay, so what would you all like to do? You've had staghorn rubbed on your faces. It is not great. Alexander, you sort of stand there like, as this strange witch woman sort of smears powdered keratin, you think, over your...
There is a genuine moment where he is just leaning the rifle slightly, like starts to move and then goes, no, can't shoot him.
Not
No.
worth it.
Also,
Yeah.
myself. Yeah.
I would save the bullets for that which actually wishes to harm you, Sergeant.
Yep. I just threw my dice on the floor. And
Which, believe it or not, is also almost never Ingrid, unless you may be our Father Pavel.
I also kick Father Pavel for no reason.
Of course you do. Right, so you all have powdered staghorn on your faces. What would you like to do?
Actually, when they were referring to the tribute, were they referring to it in any... Were we the tribute, or were they talking about tribute?
You're not sure.
Not sure. Okay. Do we want to get out of this...
Uh,
from what I can only describe as urine shed from the smell?
yes, very much so.
I think it was too much to hope for sterilization. Yes, we do.
I'll kick the door through.
Love it. Roll me, let's say,
Strength and brawl.
physique and
Whatever it is.
yeah, physique agility, please, or physique and close combat. Actually, no, physique and force, or physique and close combat, whichever is better for you, essentially.
Close combat.
This
Great.
man, I like this man. I will help this man.
Okay, do it. Let's have a Dr. Anki and Dr. Anki and Alexander power move here.
Training kicks in.
Yes, I love this.
I'm gonna go with my. So how does helping work? I just get an extra dice or something?
You get an extra dice for sure.
An extra. Good lord, 7 dice. That's what we need.
Woo! Love to see it. Hell yeah.
That would be 3 successes.
Oh, mama! That door evaporates into splinters and old rot as you and Dr. Anki both sort of square up, and then in one fluid, simultaneous motion that is too good to not have been choreographed, and yet you had no moment to plan it. You put the boot to this door and just fucking eviscerate it. It is splinters. It is gone. It just busts out of the frame. It's just all over the ground. There's just stakes of wood now. And as this happens, the Amundsen family all swivel around to see you all standing there as you all make your way out of the shed. Abella and the 2 nastier brothers look enraged. They look absolutely just angered by what you've done, and they look shocked to see you awake, actually. Zacharias looks completely unrattled, and the mermaid makes no physical motion in reaction whatsoever. As Zacharias looks at you all, once again opens his arms in welcome and says, "Ah, friends, I see you're all awake. I am so sorry for the hasty interruption to dinner and the manner of travel that we had to bring you here. But you see, we have a predicament to solve."
We know.
Oh, good. That cuts down time, doesn't it?
I mean, they might not know, so you have to explain it to them, but I know.
Good. Welcome to Deep Reef, first of all. This here little spit of land is where we make one of our most pivotal business deals of the year.
She attract the fish, they provide the dish.
Mm-hmm.
If we make it through this, I will wash your mouth with soap.
I'm just saying, I'm clever, and that was witty. Okay, I deserve some praise, considering I'm dessert.
That was pretty good. Yes, that was
You
pretty
will have
good.
praise also.
Father Pavel is
Praise and
clearly
soap
the
in equal
whole
measure.
wheel.
As you're all sort of standing there, this mermaid sort of ducks to the side a little bit and just moves ever so slightly, almost imperceptibly, just to the side of Zacharias so they can get a good view of you all. And as they do this, you do realize that whilst they are incredibly beautiful, there is a menace there. And you notice that in their mouth, as they smile at you, there are 2 very long, very beautiful pointed fangs. Could all of you please roll me a fear test? So that's your logic or your empathy, whichever is better, and tell me whether you succeed or fail. You are just looking for 1 success here.
So I was looking, and my Bible allows me to add inspiration when making fear tests.
Ooh, good. Add that.
Where is fear again?
That is your logic or your empathy.
Right,
I
okay.
succeeded. I got a
Well,
1.
And
Excellent.
where's inspiration?
That's one of your skills.
It's the 3rd from the bottom in skills.
Ah, okay, cool.
Maybe it's the same one you used for confessions, maybe?
Yes.
So is this the thing that we can use observation for to resist because of the...
No. This is
No.
if the mermaid herself was trying to call you and lure you in or something along those
Got it.
lines, I'd assume.
This is just, abomination.
Yeah, this is
simply
just crap, that's
scary.
creepy.
Pretty much.
Father.
A success?
Father, why?
Oh, dear.
I mean, it's pretty cool. It was all 5s and 3s.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
All right, all else fails. I'll kneecap him if he tries to run into the ocean.
Yeah.
That'll work. That'll do it.
I'd pay money
Question.
to see a kneecap.
Why do I like this man?
Okay. Who failed? Father Pavel. Oh yeah. All right. As you're all stood there, trying to sort of get a grip on what you're seeing, Father Pavel, you notice these fangs. You cannot take your eyes off of them. There is something about the menace in those eyes. There is something about the way that you know this creature was just in your head messing with you. Then you know that it has the power to do so again. And you're not sure that your faith is strong enough to deal with this anymore. You're getting a little bit nervous. Please take the frightened condition as you begin to back up away from this thing and sort of press your back into the shed in an attempt to try and put distance between you and it. But there's not really many other places to go. It's a very small, desolate spit of land. The lights of Wrecker Isle are a distant mirage on the horizon, sort of like an orange stain of grimy light that peers through the low-hanging mist. The only other landmark besides the shed is the boat that Abella, Pete, Pace, and Zacharias seem to have come across on. It's like loosely tied to a mooring point.
I had frightened from last session already.
Oh, do you? Good to know.
Oh no.
Makes this a little more interesting, doesn't it? Okay, I'll give you the choice then. Would you like the angry or hopeless condition?
Well, I also
Pavel feel?
already had angry from last session.
Oh no! Oh boy! I see. So, sorry. What is the one you have left? Hopeless.
Hopeless or broken.
Okay. Broken is not a condition you can choose. That just what happens.
Right.
Yeah. Right. You back up against this shed and you feel that pit of despair begin to open up in your chest as you realize there is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. It has seen you and it is going to kill you, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. And it's as this realization takes a hold in your brain that you feel your mind shut down and you sink against the shed and just become despondent.
So yeah, I'll just fall to the floor and basically grab hold of my cross that's on my chest and just sort of sit there, just sort of rocking backwards and forwards against the side of the shed.
Oh no, that is not good. You broke the father. That is not good.
You broke him.
Just as a question, Elle, is Clint there?
Nope.
Cool. Which one of these people looks the most annoyed, and does anyone mind if I shoot them?
You would say that out of all of them, probably Abella looks the most affronted. She looks like the kind of sturdy sea woman type who doesn't take shit from anyone. Like she's built like a barrel, essentially, and she has this shotgun over her arm that is sort of aimed at the floor at the moment. And it's sort of as you're all discussing this, Zacharias sort of like puts his hands up and says, friends, let's not get out of hand here, shall we? I simply wish to make this night go as smoothly as possible for everyone present. All we require is one person to go with this sea creature, at which point all will be well. It's all it takes. It is one sacrifice for the greater good.
I have a question.
I maybe have an answer.
Where is your second child?
Do you mean my brother, Paul?
Yes.
Like I said, he is away at the Mediterranean currently.
The Mediterranean. Mm-hmm. And the third one?
Oh, right, no, yes. Where is Pace? Where's he gone? And it's sort of as he looks around, you do see two of the brothers, one of them who's standing beside his mother, and the other twin sort of makes his way back around the shed from where you just couldn't see him out of sight, and he does sort of slide in beside his mother, giving you all a very dirty look.
Just
sort of Zacharias says,
you didn't want to be overdiddled if the deal had already been made. If you don't mind, I'm just going to go and slap some sense into this one. She sneaks over towards Father Pavel, like, Okay. And essentially she's gonna, like, crouch down, and she's going to basically be like, hey, how we doing, bud?
This is why they killed Carl Eric.
Yeah, this is why
They're
we
gonna
don't believe
feed
in the big
him.
man often. Come on now. And I tap him on the forehead, like, this is going to annoy you to a point where you're going to stop worrying about everything else and just want to hit me. She's going to try her best to try and stop him from feeling hopeless and scared and just annoyed at her.
Roll me, because it's fun. Roll me empathy inspiration.
Okay.
Alexander, whilst this is happening, how's your shot lining up there, bud? Are you taking it, or are you chilling?
As
for the time being?
a question, the tribute for a mermaid.
Mhm.
It has to be a living person, doesn't it?
You can hit him in the foot, leg.
I was thinking shoulder.
arm.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating this. I'm just saying you could.
How many people have guns that are around me at the moment? How outnumbered am I?
That you know of.
That you know of. It
So I can
seems
see
to
one
be,
with a shotgun.
One has a shotgun, and the other one seems to have some sort of like one of the gnarly-looking brothers seems to have some sort of pistol, and the other one has maybe like a shillelagh. It looks like a weird club thing.
Like a
Zacharias-
sailing, like a seal club.
Yeah, Zacharias appears
Fun.
unarmed.
Cool. Yeah, screw it. Let's start as we mean to go on, shall we? Yeah.
Okay.
And just go. Oh, you are looking for someone for the mermaid to take, yes?
Correct.
Maybe I make the choice for you. Yeah, no, just shoot that woman right in the shoulder.
Oh, okay, right. Kicking off. Alexander, since you have kicked off the combat, please make me your roll. Let's make this.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not a small roll.
Yeah, range combat precision, please, my dude.
This escalated quickly.
Oh, yeah. And Ingrid, what did you roll for your inspiration test?
I rolled 1.
One success, great. Father Pavel, you are still on the number of conditions that you are on, but you
Very nice.
do sort of manage to sort of fortify yourself a little bit, just out of sheer spite for the grimy woman in front of you who is tapping incessantly on your forehead, and just to make her leave you alone, you slap her hand away and manage to stand up. Just enough to get your bearings and look around, and you have enough of your faculties to be able to participate in whatever you want to do next.
You're
Cool.
welcome.
So as I was sort of like thumbing my silver cross on my chain through my fingers, which is actually a memento. I think can I
Yeah.
use that to do something as well, right?
Unfortunately, you do need a quiet scene to be able to.
Okay, this
with
is
it.
not.
This is
that.
not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I have not allowed you to deduct any conditions at this time, because it is not the time. But
Yeah,
yes,
I'll just sort of brush Ingrid off and just be like, please, okay, thank you for that, but right, I'm quite all right now.
and it's as you say this, as you hear, I'm quite all right now. You hear as a shot echoes across the waters and just like reverberates around this gnarly old shed that acts as a kind of speaker in the middle of the island, throwing the shot around the waves and the nearby water. How many successes did you get, my good sergeant?
Singular.
Singular. That's enough.
Out of 7 goddamn dice, I got 1.
Well, luckily, she was not expecting this, so
to
you
VAESEN.
still win. You line up this shot expertly, and before anyone can react, you fire, and you see this bullet wound open up in her shoulder, and she staggers back and sort of grits her teeth and snarls before she shoulders her own rifle and aims it directly at you. And we're going to get into our first combat of the game. I have these initiative cards. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to go through all of us, and I'm going to draw for each of you. I will draw for the Amundsen family and the mermaid as a whole, because otherwise we're going to be sat here for days doing the thing. So let's go with the top. Father Pavel, you're going on 8.
Cool.
Ingrid, going on 4. Alexander, going on 10.
Just draw 2.
Ah, yes, because you got your special thing, haven't you?
Yeah.
And, okay, so... Ooh, okay, you're going on 1. And,
That was good.
Dr. Anki. Yeah, that's a good thing. Dr. Anki going on 2. So we have in the initiative order Alexander Kruger going on 1.
Oh, sorry,
Father
was that
Pavel?
asking me to go? Sorry. I thought
No,
you-
that's absolutely fine. Dr. Anki going next.
Yeah.
And then we have our wonderful Father Pavel. And then Sweet Ingrid.
Sweet. That's it.
And,
I'm sweet.
And the family drew absolutely terribly, so they will actually be going last. Okay, so as you fire off, Alexander, you feel the rush of combat thrumming through your veins. This is what you were built to do. This is what you were born for and trained for. You were ready for this to happen. You were ready for shit to kick off. And you notice as no one around reacts faster than you do, and you get to go again. What would you like to do?
I will absolutely put lead into this person's chest. By the way, I will mention my damage on the rifle is 2. So, if you didn't know that beforehand. Yep. So, I will yell to the mermaid, follow the blood and take what you want.
Okay.
Let's
Please
not
roll
start
me.
bleeding.
Please roll me
Yeah.
a, let's say, empathy manipulation.
Oh boy, that's where I'm a Viking.
Hi, there it is. Just say the line. Makes me so happy.
What a weird thing that this character is really manipulative.
Mm.
2 success.
Yeah, sweet. Okay,
Yeah, I will put another bullet right through this person's fucking collarbone.
amazing. Okay, you line up the shot, and once again, you hear this. Amazing. You hear this shot echo around the nearby vicinity. This one seems louder, more aggressive than anything else, as just the rocks seem to shout it back at you like a battle cry. And this strikes dead center mass, going up through the chest and hitting the collarbone, breaking it in several places. And this time, when Abella staggers back, they fall to their goddamn knees, and they are sort of half prone by the shoreline, sort of one elbow in the water. Okay, so that is your turn. Sort of when you yell what you yell, the mermaid does very much turn their full attention to you, seem to be listening very intently, smile, and they say something that only you understand, Alexander. They say, "Blood of my blood, it shall be done." And then they turn away from you. I look towards Abella. Okay, Dr. Anki, what would you like to do?
Oh, it's all kicking off. Everything's coming back.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Two shots have been fired, both from your new friend, the sergeant.
That's that satisfying click of a the rifle slide as well.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. Music to your ears. Dr. Anki.
Anki just drops to all fours pretty much, dives headlong into her doctor's bag, pulls off her tool of preemptive medicine, aims it at the brothers.
Okay.
Who are, I believe you said, not obviously armed.
2 of them are, yes. One of them has a pistol and the other one has a shillelagh.
Aye, Pistol Man.
Go for it. Make me a roll.
This is not how I wanted this to go. Bang, bang.
Okay, right. This time I will be making a roll for them to try and dodge this. Please make your opposed roll.
So, ranged combat precision, correct?
Quite.
I will use my advantage.
Fabulous. Ah, yes, because you got a lovely advantage, didn't you?
I did get a bonus 2 to this, from making damn sure that the gun worked.
Mm-hmm. And Sweet Gareth made damn sure of it too.
I like that boy.
He likes you as well.
Oh.
Excellent. Precision for, I've never used this again before, so okay, 8 d6s.
I was gonna say, bloody hell. Oh, wow.
That's a negatory.
Negatory. Would you like to push your luck in any way?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good.
Definitely.
All right. Please re-roll all of the failed dice, and I will tell you what condition you take as a result of your actions.
Father, why? This is your fault. Nothing.
Nothing
I'm angry.
again. Oh,
Personally.
as you go to fire at this brute of a man with a cauliflower ear and the scarred up face, one teeth missing from a brawl from a while back, he turns to you, sees you raising your weapon, and levies his own pistol at you and fires. And as you both shoot, and you both aim at each other and fire, both of you see the other person aiming and firing and think, oh fuck, and go to instinctively dodge out of the way, and in dodging, both of you miss, goes wide. But both of you do manage to fuck up so spectacularly, but you don't hit each other at all. So there's that going for you. I also pushed his luck. He also got nothing.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful.
Isn't it just? As you sort of both stagger back and sort of recoil from this moment, Dr. Ranky, you feel that adrenaline begin to pump in your chest from the days long before where this sort of was your reality, and you remember how it was, and you think, oh, balls, this again. And as this sort of thought occurs to you, you feel that self-same fear that got you through those days returning. Please take the frightened condition as sort of the memories of your past return to you.
Dying is for the young.
Yeah, man. Okay. Father Pavel.
I'm gonna look up at this massive sea creature, remembering its sharp, pointy teeth, and just shout at it, "Eat her! Just eat her and fuck off!" And then run into the hut and hide behind the door of the hut.
Big fan.
Eat
Big
her
fan.
and fuck off.
I love Father Pavel. Oh my god, that's so good.
But he said it with conviction.
Conviction, and that's the best bit. You know what? Fuck it. Roll me, like empathy, and I don't know what do you roll for groveling? There's no grovel roll in this.
Manipulation?
Roll me empathy, inspiration, just for your like the sheer audacity of what you yelled at this like horrendous creature of natural forces.
He's kneeling on a starfish at this exact moment. It's a nightmare for
You
everyone.
plucky shithead. I love you.
Oh dear.
2.
Just knee deep in the pool.
Oh, sweet Father Pavel, what would we do without you? Yeah, you yell at this creature, and you notice as Alexander, you just sort of had this moment with this entity. You notice as Father Pavel screeches this at her, like they kind of like turn away from what they were doing and over to Father Pavel. And as Father Pavel runs into the shed, Alexander, you very much see as they just go, yeah, and then just continue about their way towards the Bella. You're not sure if it worked, but it did something. Okay. Father
Just
Pavel,
let shit happen to someone else.
Yeah, just not me for once, please.
Yeah, you run into the shed and you sort of manage to hide yourself behind a fallen plank of wood that once formed part of the door. Well done. So, Ingrid, what would you like to do now that your very brave priest has boldly ran away?
Boldly ran away.
Full Sir Robin, absolutely.
I'm not really sure. This isn't Ingrid's forte. Ingrid doesn't fight things, especially not big, scaly, pretty, I'm gonna eat you things that are currently about to eat some poor old woman on the ground. You know?
Yeah, we don't have to worry.
We don't have to worry about that. Is there anybody around who seems to be like they're trying, like they're going for Ibella as well, like to try and get her out of the water? Is there anyone looks like they're trying to stop the mermaid from eating Ibella?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Okay, please roll me
I'm gonna catch these hands if they do.
empathy and observation, just to sort of get an idea of the people who are on the island and what their motives might be, since none of the family have really had a chance to react
I
yet.
straight up pavelled it. No.
Straight pavelled it? You're not sure.
Yeah, that's officially a thing now.
I
Straight tackled
apologize. I apparently took all the successes.
You did. Would you like to push your luck in any way, or are you willing to fail on this occasion?
I mean,
A bit of push luck as a treat?
I have sixth
It's a treat.
sense, which is for investigation. Does that count?
We will say that it will for funsies, if you
Yay!
would like. Cool. What does that do?
That's a great question as well.
Isn't it just though?
I knew what it did.
Isn't
'cause
it
I
so
read
great?
You know when you read something like 3 seconds ago and then it
Yeah.
just disappears? So
You know when you're playing a new system and you can't memorize all the rules right off the bat, but you're trying your best.
Sixth sense is apparently when making investigation tests, which this wasn't one, but I'm asking anyway because I'm cheeky. You may spend extra successes to learn stuff, but I didn't get any.
Aw, it's a shame. But if you choose to push
I
your
can
luck,
push
you
my
might
luck.
do.
I'm gonna push my luck. Just this
Okay, do it.
one. Okay.
We love to see it. We love to see it.
Okay.
And
observation.
On this occasion,
I got 2. Yes.
as you try and focus in on this, you feel in the back of your mind that presence again. Not the one you're used to, the other one.
Oh no.
The new one.
The new one.
And this time it's directional. And it's coming from the mermaid.
Eh?
And it says, "You could have just asked." And once again, you hear the voice that you're used to in the back of your mind say, "Get out, get out, get out," and try and recoil away from it. Your 2 successes, however, you do notice as you look over and you see very clearly the 2 brothers. They seem to be more focused on the fight at hand, but like they do seem to be trying to sort of like get in the way of like Abella and you all. Like for instance, one of them seems to be trying to dive in front of her to stop Alexander from shooting her again.
Yeah.
The other one seems to be directing all of his attention at Dr. Anki, who just shot at him.
Mhm.
And Zacharias, this is the interesting bit. You notice that Zacharias does not look perturbed in the slightest. He is not reaching down to help. He has not stopped in any way. He is simply stood there looking completely nonplussed.
Is that all I can do this turn?
What else would you like to do? I'm willing to say that this can be your fast action.
The other thing I would like to do, now that I've seen that they're kind of trying to go that way, is I want to try and get their attention. So I'm gonna fish the crystal ball out of my hand, throw it on the sand, and start pretending I'm casting some terrifying spell in their direction. I'll say their names out at them, and I'll make it like heebie-jeebie. I'm not doing anything. I can't cast magic, and I know that, but they don't.
Of course. Empathy and 2 of them are complete, like, terrifying, blunt force dullards. So that's completely fair. Empathy and manipulation, please, my dear.
Oh, come on. Don't pavel it again. Where's my manipulation?
And thank you, chat, for posting P's in chat as the VAESEN version of F's in chat. We all very much appreciate you and love you dearly. Thank you. That has made my evening, and I will now be laughing about that for the next week.
1 success.
Fun. Well, I will make them an opposed roll, but they don't have a lot of dice, so... Speaking of don't have a lot of dice, I just threw one on the floor. So they had 4 dice. I rolled 4 ones.
Yay!
Jeez.
Okay,
Yeah.
Father Pavel's is officially working in our favor now.
Yeah, I straight paddled it.
Paddled
You
it.
notice as the 2 brothers look over at you, they are the only ones with any sort of real focus on you at the moment. And you notice they very much go, "Oh, fuck. She's fucking doing something. Stop her. What's she doing? What's she doing? I don't fucking know. Just stop her. I don't want to know." And sort of as they're sort of visibly freaking out in front of you, they very much turn your attention on you, Ingrid. Okay. Speaking of which, it is their turn.
Oh, no.
So,
I didn't think this through.
so
What
as
a
they're,
very Ingrid thing to do.
for sure. As they are sort of freaking out and having this moment, one of them is going to turn to the other and sort of say, "I don't know, you deal with it. I'm dealing with the doctory, studious-looking one. And the one with the gun is going to once again aim for you, Dr. Anki.
I am here.
Have a look then. Please roll me. If you would like to spend your fast action to dodge, you absolutely may. In this case, please roll me your, what should we say? Physique and agility to get the heck out of dodge.
I mean, a chance at survival is better than not. I'll take it.
All right. Oh my god.
The
Pavel!
spectre of Father Pavel looms heavily upon us all.
Yeah.
No, it did not work.
Done? Oh
I'm
my
done.
god. Oh wow. Okay, well you both missed each other again.
I didn't even fire!
you sort of watch as this sort of very squat, very scary looking individual takes aim at you with this pistol and sort of tries to take aim and fire, but his hand is clearly shaking after seeing whatever Ingrid just is doing in the corner of his eye. He's clearly freaking out and sort of fires, but it goes completely wide and he misses. In fact, in the process, he does end up sort of fumbling it and like managing to get it so that the recoil hits into his thumb and you hear like a horrible cracking noise and he goes, ah, shit, and sort of drops the weapon. That was a straight miss. The other one, however, is going to go, oh, god damn it, and take a run at you, Ingrid, with this shillelagh. If you'd like to use your fast action to get the hell out of dodge, you may. Please roll me your physique and agility to get the hell out of the way.
Oh, yes, the two things I am the best at. And Pavelled it.
Oof. Oh my god, what the fuck? Stop it. I've always done to my dice. I'm gonna push his luck because fuck it, why not?
I can't push my luck, it's not worth it.
Oh no. Ingrid, how many did you get?
None.
Oh, pissed. All right, you sort of stand there and you don't quite get out of the way in time. In fact, sort of as he runs at you, you dodge one way and he unexpectedly changes course last minute to compensate for your dodge and swings in the other direction, something that you absolutely did not expect. And it clips you hard on the side of the head with this horrible sort of knobbled wooden thing. Looks to be some sort of carved ore at one point. Please take the physical condition of let's say wounded, as you sort of feel the wooziness begin to set in as your sort of brain rattles in your skull. You think you've probably got a concussion of some sort. It's horrible. I
have a question.
I may have an answer.
I pushed my luck earlier. What condition did I get from pushing my luck?
Oh, so you did.
Yeah. As much as I don't want to say, what condition did I get? Because I've now got 3.
Okay. 3 in what? Was that mental or physical?
I've got frightened at the moment, and I've now got wounded, but I don't know what I got from pushing my luck to.
Okay, so pushing your luck earlier, I will say that you took a mental condition for that. I will say that you got the condition of, let's say, angry. You are incensed. You are infuriated. This has not gone your way and you are not sure why. The voice in your head is being weird. It has never acted like this before. You really don't need it in this time of stress. Maybe it could be a little more cooperative. It's nice. frankly it's not on. And it's pissing you off a tad. So I think you are probably angry in this moment. Alrighty. Okay, Alexander.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, actually, I need a Bella. Oops. There is one more person in the Amundsen family, and this is the person who is very, very, very upset at the moment. As they're sort of lying there at the water's edge, sort of clinging on to life, their blood spurting out of their chests, the mermaid encroaching close behind them. They don't appear to have even noticed it yet as it sort of slides through the water towards them with the predator-like precision. They take this rifle in their hands, and as a sort of last ditch, last hurrah, final glory, they aim it straight at your face, Alexander, and they fire. Please roll me your fast action of physique and agility to get the fuck out of dodge, and I will roll for them.
Okay, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take other dice that are not my shooty dice because I don't want to Pavel my shooty dice.
That's fair. We don't know how his influence works, but it is mighty and terrifying. People think I'm in control here. I'm not. It's Father Pavel.
We never technically knew what Pavel was praying to.
Something about moving mysterious ways and whatnot.
For sure.
Beautiful.
Oh, she got me.
Oh, yeah. All right, buddy. Yeah, this last-ditch surge of action takes you by surprise. You've seen this woman take 2 rifle shots to the chest. It would take anything less than a champion would be dead. She, however, shoulders this rifle as she is bleeding out on the rocks here and takes aim and fires. It hits you center mass. Please take the wounded condition as the bullet slams hard into your chest and you feel some of your ribs begin to give under the weight.
So I've gone broken, wounded.
Nope, you are simply wounded at this moment.
Okay.
You are not broken. We will get to that when we get to it.
Okay.
It is not fun. Okie dokie. So, as this happens, you watch as behind Abella, this creature sort of rears out of the water. And just in one swift motion, she looks over at you, Alexander, smiles again, and then it goes to grab Abella and drag them into the depths. I'm going to roll for the mermaid, but let's just say
you keep saying she's real beautiful and like really like a stereotypical mermaid. All I can think of is the mermaid from Cabin in the Woods.
Valid.
Just a horrible deep sea nightmare that's slithering across the way.
I mean, they kind of are, but in that sort of like, you know when cryptids are hot.
Yeah.
It's that. So it's a cryptid that like deviant art has gotten hold of.
Dang, cryptid, you fine.
Hot. Like they shouldn't be attractive, and yet they're kind of attractive. You know.
There was a thing that they put around, which was, what if Ariel the Little Mermaid was from different parts of the ocean? And there's one for her as a deep sea like anglerfish, and I'm like,
it's horrifying.
That's
weird. Fucking horrifying. Weird, but you might. Yeah, weird, but you might, absolutely. So this whole game in a shell, to be totally honest. Weird, but you might. And as one might expect, this creature from the depths with sort of, you notice as they reach out and they very much sort of wrap these long, sinuous, muscled arms around Abella and drag them into the depths with a very swift, easy motion. Their muscles, you haven't really noticed this before because of just like the elegant countenance that they put across, but this creature is pure muscle. And sort of rope-like biceps and triceps as they yank this woman into the depths. There is nothing but a surprised yelp and a splash and then silence. And as this happens, that the 2 brothers look around and just they just yell in just frustration and panic and horror as they watch their mother be dragged down. Zacharias makes absolutely no movement to help her.
Congratulations. You have given tribute. Now we have a year.
Yeah, that is combat resolved. As we come to a conclusion with the mother of Bella of the Rekka Inn being dragged into the depths by this creature, the creature disappearing back into the deep off of Deep Reef, Zacharias taking it in all of your faces with an enigmatic stare, and the 2 brothers screaming and running towards the shoreline to look for their mother. And that is where we will draw to the close ever so briefly, so that we can all have a break.
Holy crap, it's always been this long.
Yeah. Combat has been very fluid today.
What you're saying is that Mermaid took her and fucked off.
Yeah.
Exactly as you said.
Oh no, Father Pavel is actually a prophet.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, no.
The melee took her and fucked off. Maybe that's why we were all getting pavelled until his action was completed. We simply
Hey, he paid
did not roll
tribute.
well. Oh, for sure. We paid tribute, and now our dice will behave again. They fucking better. So we will draw to a close and go on a brief break. We will be back in 10 minutes or so whilst we take a quick tin. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate you all. Don't go anywhere, and we will be back in 10 minutes or so to give away a copy of the cool rulebook of VAESEN and dive a little into the aftermath of the Wrecker Inn and the archipelago. Back soon, y'all.
Hi, everybody. I'm George.
And I'm Bob. We're the Shipping Goblins from Beetle and Cribs. Today, we're going to talk about the amazing Map Vault Collection. And with the Map Vault Collection, you get a bunch of gorgeous two-sided maps, all scaled for standard minis.
Yeah, get yours now for the Map Vault Collection from Beetle and Grimm, and all the players at your table will be revved up and hyper because the only thing they'll be able to say is...
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Zoinks!
Yeah, do it again.
Zoinks!
Hello?
Who do you think you are?
Yes, Mr. Lillard.
You're just some common.
Yes, sir.
You can't just go off and use my
It's your
voice
thing.
like that. I have rights.
Completely. We just thought... okay.
I'm gonna take this right to
yes,
Beetle. Hey, Grim.
Thank you, sir.
What happened?
Matthew Lillard watches our show!
In a world wrought with demons, going to hell is the only way to get redemption. 5 adventures, 1 mission. This spring, join us as we descend into Avernus, the first layer of hell. Action, fire, brimstone. If you make a deal with the devil, you better be prepared to dance. Band of Badgers, Descent into Avernus, coming this May.
Two, one, go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to our VAESEN story, King Hunt. This is episode 4, part 2 of the Silver of the Sea. And our brave, intrepid heroes have thwarted a situation in which one of them was intended to be sacrificed to a mermaid. They have expertly fended off the danger, but we will be diving back into that into a moment when I will draw you back into the scene at hand. For now, we have a giveaway to do. So for the peeps in chat, we have 1 copy of the VAESEN Core rulebook to give away. So as the answer to the chat this time, what do you think Olaus Clint's deal is? Let's have chat, throw some theories out as to what you think Olaus Clint's deal is here and exactly what's going on with him. And I will pick my favorite theory and we will sling you that core rulebook. So post your theories in chat and
Do they have to be accurate theories, or can they be?
No, God no.
ones?
If you just want to say Olaus Clint's like a space alien from Mars here to abduct everyone to his dastardly schemes, that's also cool.
Hold on, say that slower for me. No, I'm joking.
I mean, who knows? VAESEN is a weird and wonderful world, and who knows what may enter here.
Oh, I thought we'd figured it out. He's a used vacuum salesman.
Obviously. What else would he be? It's the aggressive disappearing and reappearing at awkward times that does it.
He actually turned up to meet Alexander Kruger under the assumption that he would be taking him on a tour of a dinosaur-infested island, but actually his son was lost on said island and needed him to rescue him.
Did he spare no expense?
He spared no expense. Yeah, he actually works for a paint and tile company in a crappy mall.
You've now officially cursed us. I hope you're happy, Garrus.
Sorry, I apologize.
We must find the Tyrannosaurus urine.
I'm just going to be looking down because I've got a chat so I can write all these down.
Yep, that's
I
fair.
like that.
And,
That's a good one.
As chat is theorizing away, for better or for worse, I will say that we would have had a lovely guest with us today in Jay Stilapek, but unfortunately she could not be here with us due to personal reasons. So instead, we will simply be mentioning her product, which is Better Backstories. It's this wonderful thing. It is an NPC building system for your RPG. It is a system neutral thingy. So you can build an NPC for any game that you're running, be it Vampire, VAESEN, D&D, or anything of the sort. You simply draw an amount of cards relating to the complexity you want the character to be, and sort of go from there. So for instance, if I wanted to build one, right now, I might pull, say, 3 from this here lovely deck of mine. I got the bumper pack because I'm special like that.
You are, though.
I am, aren't I? So this NPC that I've just made is in love in some way. They're in a romance, but the love is unrequited. # sad times. They're a modern person, always focused on progress, being better, bigger, and stronger. Harder, faster, better, stronger, whatever the Daft Punk song is. They are also a lover of communication. Languages and codes come easy to them. So they are a good communicator in a modern world in a hopeless romance. What a time, eh?
Okay, I rescind the accusation that Dr. Anki is an NPC.
For sure. Yeah, so if you are interested in this, they are on Twitter under the Better Backstories moniker. You can find them in other places around the internet, and I highly suggest you do so. So, Stacey, what are
everybody's typing so fast. I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'll be there in a second. Hold on.
A lot of Godzilla and King Kong
Oh, so
conversation.
I mean,
Of course there is. Of course
I know
there
my
is.
favorite, and it's one of the first ones.
Is that the thing about me? Because
Yup.
yeah, did see that.
Okay. All right. I think I've got as many as I can, and I'm just going to read the rest.
don't
of
wanna
the
be
chat, 'cause I
turned into
can't type all of
necrotraps.
these out. Right. So we've got. He's having to deal with a monkey versus lizard fight.
Yeah.
He just wants to build a better Care Bear store. He wants to skin Alexander Kruger and wear him as a body glove.
I mean, those two are not mutually exclusive.
He actually has aspirations to build a singing herring to hang on the wall.
Death.
Olaf knew that a snowman voiced by Josh Gad would be named after him, and honestly, what else did we expect? They're looking for revenge on anyone since they stepped on some Legos. He's here to prevent the curse of Pavel from infecting the world. He wants to beat Godzilla in a bare-knuckle fist fight.
Oh my god.
Don't we all?
Don't we all?
No.
Do I
Godzilla's
really need to
beauty.
read that one?
No.
Okay. Or
No, you don't.
He wants to burn the Louvre in the ground so he can lay his dragon eggs.
Ah, burn the Louvre, eh? Sounds familiar. All right. Oh
your
gosh.
options.
All right. What is everybody's favorites? What do we think, guys?
I mean, I'm gonna go with the one that broke you the most, which is the Pavel curse.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. That's my dead favorite.
I don't know. I kind of like the snowman voiced by Josh Gad just because it breaks the fourth wall.
But-
ever so slightly.
I mean,
But
I'd
does he
love to
spell
give
the
it
same
that,
way,
but
though?
it's actually incorrect because his name is Olaus, not Olaf.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I spelt his name in chat as Olaf because I'm a terrible human
Sad
being.
times. Sad
I'm
times.
sorry, everyone.
That's okay.
No, we're just giving Josh Gad a run for his money.
Okay, a hard thing to do, I'm sure. So,
I don't know who this man is.
Who was that?
The guy who voiced Olaf, the snowman in Frozen.
No, as in who was the person who?
Oh,
said-
right.
Baron
Baron
Snowhand.
Snowhand.
Baron Snowhand. Okay, congratulations, Baron Snowhand. Please PM one of our moderators, and we will get that book across to you ASAP. Thank you so much. And right, shall we dive back into the scene, folks? You've got a bit of a problem to deal with, haven't you? All right.
Oh, I said the problem has to deal with us as well.
For sure. And well, actually saying that, you've resolved the current predicament in some way, shape, or form. The mermaid has grabbed the mother of the wrecker in, Bella Amundsen, and dragged her beneath the decks after being absolutely peppered with gunfire from Alexander Kruger. The mermaid has disappeared beneath the deep. The waters are once again silent, apart from the cries of horror and anguish of Pace and Pete, the two very gnarly looking brothers who have run to the water's edge to try and look for their mother. As you all stand there, Zacharias sort of unfolds his arms and says, "Oh, for goodness sake, do stop your lamenting and howling, giving me a headache." And I will make a quick roll for him, as his voice seems to reverberate with a strange double timbre as he speaks, almost like he did before. And it's as this happens that you watch as the two twins slowly but surely begin to sink to their knees, and unconsciousness begins to take them as they sort of go face down on the rocks. And Zacharias sort of...
I don't not want to shoot him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Steady.
feeling.
But I'm going to give it some time.
I'm gonna pick up my crystal ball from the rocky sand.
That's fair.
Put it back in my bag.
And he sort of does turn to you all and just says, as I said, simply business, is it not?
I would not necessarily call this simple, but I suppose, in a matter of speaking, one down.
When I said the greater good, I did mean it. That wasn't just a want for one of you to boldly sacrifice yourselves. I'm not an idiot. However, a sacrifice did need to be made.
And it was bold.
My suggestion is that if the next time you want to drug and bring your sacrifices here, you bind their hands, do not give them a gun and break their ankles.
A wise suggestion. I will certainly take it into consideration. I will say I didn't expect you to throw off the effects of the sleep quite so quickly. You do seem, a trifle more resilient than I gave you credit for. Especially you, my dear Kruger.
We are all full of surprises.
I would say so.
And I'll like lean round from the side of the shed and be like, I told you it wasn't the soup.
I am
Yes.
curious because I don't like the cut of his jib. He's putting off my little supernatural sense just slightly because I'm all like, okay, so he yelled and now they're asleep, which to me was a mermaid thing, but he's like Ingrid's sus. So
Okay.
Ingrid would like to try and figure out what's his deal. Is he human still? Is he magical? Is he using magic?
Empathy observation, please, my dear Ingrid. And anyone else who would also like to puzzle this out may add a dice to her roll if you are interested.
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay, Dr. Anki, you are helping. Please add 1 to your roll, Ingrid.
Okay. I got 2.
Father Pavel, I imagine you have come out from behind the shed now.
Yeah, sort of sipping on a bit of my wine that I've got in a flask. Just sort of calm my nerves a bit.
Fantastic. Okay. Ingrid, you look from Zacharias to the ocean and from the ocean back to Zacharias. And once again, that heady scent of perfume hits your nose, but there's something underneath it. A very heady scent of like the seawater at dawn and sort of the brine that comes off of boats as they make port. Something distinctly maritime that is not the ocean, but is coming from Zacharias himself underneath the layers of perfume. And you do notice that, yeah, a lot of what he's doing, the mermaid also seemed pretty adept at.
Outside voice, Ingrid.
I have thought. My brain does waves and I am now thinking.
Well, is anybody dying?
No, but something smells fishy.
We're near the ocean.
And the
Sometimes I
herring
wonder
factory.
if you even understand me. And it's like I'm talking to the sand.
We're all fucking idiots.
I know, right? Complete morons.
Complete morons.
Absolute
Mr. Amundsen.
dumbasses.
Yes.
There is
my
a
good
bullet
doctor.
lodged in my shoulder blade.
You live.
I'm aware.
Looks over to the man thing again.
That thing.
Yes. Well, last I remember, we came with 3 more companions. A young man, a lovely lass, and her dog. You would not happen to know why they were not in the same shed, would you?
Yes. Well, unfortunate situation that. You see, my dear Alexander, I am terribly sorry about all of this, but your good friend Olaus made a business deal with myself before all of this. He offered me quite a sizable amount of money to use all of you, and you too, Alexander, in the sacrificial ritual. Those two and the dog.
Tova.
Indeed. He seemed to have other business with. I'm not entirely sure, but he did mention something about a chess club and the junta. But either way, it seemed to be enough that he didn't want them used in the sacrifice. I'm so sorry, Alexander, you were talking.
No, it is fine. I was picked up outside of a port near Latvia. Not Latvia. What am I thinking? Somewhere near the Bering.
No, I completely understand. All the names seem to merge together sometimes.
Brought here under the guise that I was supposed to guard him. And then this happens. So I'm unfortunately not aware of any of his goings on. It is a very don't ask, don't tell kind of business.
Can imagine. So, again, terribly unfortunate, but as far as I was concerned, I simply needed at least one person to conduct my other transaction, and Olaus was offering me means to that end. Therefore, as Olaus told you at dinner, simply is nothing personal, it is just business. And as you can see, I believe it's worked out very well for all of us.
You say
Apart from
that.
these two, of course.
But this business is not over. This is a recurring arrangement that you have, yes?
Quite.
Every new moon.
So in about 4 weeks' time, you must get someone else, correct?
It's alright, he has 2 more
Yes.
sons.
What happens if you do not?
He uses one of the 2 sons. Didn't I just say that?
I believe that's exactly what I shall be doing. Yes, but no, the doctor does make a good point. Point that I will answer. I see no point in being in engaging in obfuscation at this juncture. You have all seen more than enough to warrant transparency. As you can see, the islands have been flourishing over the past 30 years in ways that were not previously possible. This is because 30 years ago, my family, the Amundsons, well, I say my family, my half family, really, began making a deal with the entity that lies below the deeps to appease them. As long as they appease them, the herring come to the island. The archipelago does well in its business transactions and its various communications with the outside world, and does well internally. No disasters come from the ocean, and we, as a community, prosper. Without that, we are simply nothing but marauders and thieves, left to die on the edge of the world, completely forgotten by society. And I, for one, will not stand by and watch that happen again.
So instead you have simply become an arrangement of human sacrifice. That makes a lot of sense. Oh no, wait, I was trying sarcasm and it failed.
Again,
Okay.
It is one... I will not call it death. It is not that. I do not think.
You do not think?
No. But, it is one sacrifice to be made when the time is right, versus the deaths of many mothers, fathers, children, and innocents who would surely starve to death and perish should the islands fail.
Which would never have been in that position if the islands didn't flourish in the first place.
No, they would simply have continued dying and starving as they were before.
I thought Fjallbacka was much of a, and the Rakarel particularly, definitely not flourishing, but stagnant, stable.
Wasn't great. It certainly didn't help any of us out here. As it is now, we are in a position to help one another. We are in good trade deals with the mainland. We have a thriving fishing industry that is not just good for the archipelago, but for the entirety of Sweden. I do not think you understand the length to which we have gone to ensure that we are a linchpin of industry. Were we to go down, we are taking Sweden with us.
And at what cost, though? A life every month?
Yes.
That's 12 people a year.
12
For the
people a year
past-
versus thousands starving to death.
For the past 30 years?
Yes.
I don't do that much math. You're going to have to help out there. 12
In
times
terms of
30.
arithmetic, it certainly beats the logic of the battlefield. I will give you that much.
This
However,
is just another brutal war.
if you will indulge me one more question.
I'm sure I can manage it.
I rather think so. What happens if you were to renege on the deal? They simply vanish? The herring dry up?
I do not know if you have ever slighted a mermaid before, Dr. Anki, but it is not pretty. Usually, the mermaid is not the be-all and end-all of your problems.
Forgive me for saying that was not so much an answer as avoiding the question in a beautiful way.
If you like, I can show you.
Please don't.
Surely you could just stay on the land, no?
Are we really having this conversation right now?
We are really having this conversation right now.
Can we just go home?
Oh,
Yes.
There's no system of languages in this system. But if it's heritage appropriate, can I bust out what I believe to be Mr. Sergeant Alex's language for a quick aside?
Yeah, of course you can.
I have no idea if he speaks Russian. I only speak a few words. Excellent. This will be great. Just gonna glance across her shoulder towards the sergeant, his bullet wound, his very well capable rifle. If this doesn't work, just shoot him in the head. By all means, I would very much like to know.
I would very much like to go home. There's some things I would like to do, like nap and eat some food.
Sorry, Dr. Anki, was there a question in there?
Yes.
Please do repeat. I'm so sorry.
You said you could show me?
Ah. Are you sure?
That is what we call a threat, Anki. Do
I'm
not
sure.
argue with the fishman.
I'm not arguing. If anything, I'm negotiating.
I'm gonna take a step back.
Well,
Tell
as
me.
I'm certain will not be an ironic statement, where will be the harm of knowledge?
Tell me, Dr. Anki, what do you know of krakens?
What do I know of krakens?
Roll me. Let's have some fun. Roll me logic and learning.
Ooh, that is a thing. Logic and learning.
Ooh, is that your advantage? Oh no, you used your
No,
advantage.
I'd already used my advantage by missing horribly with a pistol.
I'll roll the 6 because I also want to know.
Okay, cool.
I
anyone
paddled
who's
it.
okay, who got
I
a
know.
success?
So
Yeah,
I'm.
you
I'm-
know.
Yeah.
I'm just
Stacey,
thinking
you got
about
one?
going back in my shed.
I got one.
Ingrid, you know that a kraken is a creature of legend given form.
Oh,
The
yeah.
kraken is a gigantic beast of the water that, when summoned, wreaks havoc on everything for miles around.
Okay.
It is a gigantic squid creature.
Great.
For your benefit, Father, you may think of it as the Leviathan from your Bible.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Because, of course,
Good.
I could show you, but the ground we're standing on might become a little fraught were I to.
Basically giant tentacles.
How exactly would you go about showing me?
Well, I would
Yeah,
ask it. I would ask it to reveal itself, of course.
And you are on good terms with this entity?
It is with me. I'm not sure about
It
all of
would
you.
be very painful.
Mm. But like I said, I certainly could. However, I'm guessing that none of us would. Well, I'm guessing that you wouldn't particularly enjoy that interaction, considering that the last time it happened, it wasn't particularly pleasant. But if you're that insistent on learning,
I'm not.
The night is long, and Dr. Enki, I believe we should possibly retire.
I would really like to not have physical demonstration of large squid creature coming to land. Thank you. That's very generous of you, Squid Man. I'm okay. Yes. Anki, we need to talk.
I
you're most
will.
welcome. You're most welcome, my dear. Now, if you wouldn't mind helping me get these two lugs into that wonderful shed over there, I believe we can get going.
You mean those? Your sons?
Yes. I mean, unless you want them coming back with us.
The sons?
Yes.
They're not dead?
You would leave them here for a month.
Well, I'd come back for them later, but I don't want them with me right now.
Where are we going with you? Sorry.
Well, that's
Back
my
to
boat.
Wrecker Isle.
So,
Right.
If are these two going to be regaining their ability to maneuver around?
sure. At a later date. Once I've sorted some things. They won't remember any of this, don't worry about it.
Oh, that's fine then.
Also, there's really very little point in putting him in shed because shed has no door right now. I point out at the door that
so
was
right.
recently bashed in.
Oh, well, in that
Shelter
case,
from
I'll
the
just
elements.
throw them in the brig and deal with them later. Would one of you erstwhile fellows deign to help me maneuver them? I'm not
I'll
particularly
do it.
gainly. Thank you, Alexander. And
Yes.
together
Well,
you do.
yeah, and I'll
Good,
grab
eh?
the legs.
Great. Together you all maneuver these large individuals into the bowels of the ship. There is a very well formed, sturdy brig at the bottom that you guess was probably used to transport you all to this island as you were sleeping. You throw these two in, lock the door, and Zacharias sort of dusts his hands off, dusts an imaginary spot off of his jacket, and heads up to the bow of the ship, where he begins to expertly pilot it away from the deep reef once you are all aboard. He is seemingly very adept at pilotry. His ship skills are very, very impressive as he sort of scampers around the boat and readjusts everything, ready to go. Yes, Ingrid.
Ingrid would like to look for something while they're holding the people on the boat, if that's okay.
Go for it.
I
What
was
would you
wondering
like?
if I could search around to see if there's any seaweed bladders around here. Because
Oh.
it is a magical item off the magic items chart. It says seaweed bladder. And since there's a magical mermaid here, there might be one lying around.
Yeah, please roll me your logic and vigilance, please.
Did that woman get dragged into the briny depths with her gun?
Yeah.
Damn it.
I failed.
Yeah, she was not letting go of that thing for love nor money.
I failed miserably and I found nothing.
Oh, sad times. Yeah, you look around, you can't find anything.
That is the saddest. But it's
But
okay.
as you all sort of make your way back to the Wrecker Isle, you sort of slide into the docks with nary a fuss. It is extremely late in the evening at this point. You get that it's maybe like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. It is late. Sort of the first tendrils of dawn are beginning to wrap over the horizon and reach in as the stars are beginning to wink out above you. The sort of peaches and tangerines of the new day beginning to encroach. And as you sort of approach this place, this sort of the late night drinkers of the Wrecker Inn are beginning to filter their way out and make their way home. The door is open as people are ferrying their way in and out. And sort of loitering by the front of the inn, tapping their feet impatiently as you all disembark, is Jeremias, your contact. And as he notices you, he looks absolutely relieved and then looks over at Zacharias and his face falls. And he stays where he is. Sort of as you will get off, Zacharias dusts his hands again, sort of looks at you all and says, well, tonight has been an interesting evening indeed. Are you looking to stick around on Wreckerial, or will you be leaving us?
I would need to... I'm tired. I would like to stay here just for a little bit and then go.
Okay. Well, the Wrecker Inn is open to you as you see fit. Please help yourselves to rooms. I will sort it out with Justina tomorrow morning. Not a problem. As it is, I'm going to bed. Good night, everyone. He does sort of turn swiftly on his heel and walk towards his house, giving Jeremias a smug nod on his way by. And sort of Jeremias just pales. Walks over.
All right, Sergeant.
Yeah. As you sort of make your beeline to the inn, sort of Jeremias does sort of intercept you and says, what happened? Are you all okay?
Into the
You
inn,
look
come
awful.
on, let's go. I grab Jeremias and I'm just like pulling
Oh,
him
all right,
with me.
all right.
There are rooms, and she will talk to you.
Okay. And he's just sort of like being pulled along by Ingrid. He's not fighting her off or anything, but he's like very much, oh my God, all right. As you all enter this place, Justina looks up at you all and says, hello. Very, very late in the evening. Your rooms are ready for you. Please go on up whenever you see fit. You very much managed to find your way up to your rooms, where you found before. Father Pavel, the briefcase is once again on the bed, completely undisturbed. The room is very Spartan, but very comfortable. There are a few beds in here. There's like 3 or 4 of them in a kind of cabin-style situation. It's one of the cheaper rooms, but it'll do. There's sort of a bookcase filled with paperbacks and that sort of thing. There's a desk. Apart from that, very sparsely decorated. Sort of Jeremias comes in, like loiters by the door, sort of tapping his foot and looking impatiently around at you all.
I drag him in like, no, come inside. And then I shut the door.
Okay.
I make sure the window is shut and I'm looking around making sure no one else can hear. Then
So?
I go, it is exactly as I suspected.
Right?
I was right all along.
What were you right about?
So, the family that's really rich and thing, well, one of them is part fish, and then there's fish, and the merfish is eating one person each new moon, and then that makes all the herring come, and that makes the town happy. Requires human sacrifice. That's where your... Sorry, what family member was it again? Sibling, brother, boyfriend?
Mentor.
My mentor.
Mentor. Yes, your mentor's been eaten by a mermaid.
Well, no, because we found the body.
Okay, no, that was it. The third brother was eaten by the mermaid.
Oh.
And then the body was dumped.
Oh.
Most likely. That is probably what happened. That's my theory. But I am
Well.
definitely right about the fact that the family are sacrificing people to merfolk. I may not have been exactly right about the merfolk. I said
It is not beyond the pale that the poor father actually may have... His cause of death may have been self-inflicted, for we have not been able to prove otherwise. Although we have proved enmity, we have not proved action.
Also, we have proved that Anki is completely and utterly suicidal.
Oh.
Speaking of which,
Why would you be
Sergeant...
asking the fish
Bullet
person to
wound.
demonstrate your
Puts-
doom?
I'll be getting after that after once I've fixed somebody's bleeding chest, please.
Alright.
Jeremiah sort of shakily sits down on the bed and he looks absolutely bewildered and taken aback and like he has no idea where to go from here whatsoever.
Right.
He thought this was a standard murder investigation and you're coming at him with fish people. He is very clearly distressed. Dr. Ankley?
I reflexively shove my liquor bottle into Jeremiah's hands.
Oh, damn
Yeah,
it.
he
Ow.
sort of takes it and just sort of takes a long chug. Okay. Dr.
Welcome
Anki,
to the day drinking club.
Dr. Anki, please roll me. Yeah, it's 5 a.m. It's technically daytime. Please roll me your precision and medicine, please.
With the bonus for the equipment, I hope, this
Quite.
time?
Absolutely. You are absolutely using your medical kit for this.
Are you
2 plus.
injecting me with anything?
Oh,
I get
no.
I
You-
doubt it.
No, but I have stolen Pavel's vine, and now you're drinking it.
Yep.
Ah,
Yep.
brilliant.
Holy wine.
Did you say logic or precision?
Precision, please.
Precision medicine, that is.
Yes,
4 plus.
because you are using your fingers and trying to be deft and
Yeah.
precise with this. Father Pavel,
Don't use your fingers.
wrench it out.
Okay, I'd like to push my luck in this one, because I don't want to Pavel my one thing that I should be good at.
Go for it.
1 success.
One success. Okay, that's enough. You sort of take your time, open your medical kit, sit Alexander down, shove the wine into his hands, and get to work.
Gun back into box.
Yeah, it's a very deft precision with Dr. Anki working on your shoulder here. Very clearly, this is a woman who knows what she's doing. She sort of uses tweezers and sort of sterilizes it, gets sort of a match, strikes it, heats up the tweezers briefly before very quickly going in, grabbing the bullet and wrenching it out before you can even react. It's sort of like you go to yell out and it's already done.
Bite stick.
Yeah, presses a poultice down over the wound, bandages it up. Please remove your wounded condition.
Yay.
And do you say there's like a table in the room?
Yeah, there's a desk.
I'm just gonna have a look in the desk, see if there's like a letter opener or something I can maybe jimmy the suitcase open with.
Sure. Yeah, you have a look in the desk, sort of rifle around and it's through the drawers and things. And oh, hey, yeah, there's a sort of like a skinny nail file looking thing in the second drawer down.
Yeah, so I'll just try and shove it into the briefcase and pry it open almost.
Sure. Would you say you are trying to be precise with this or you're just trying to brute force it?
Brute force, I'd say.
Right, so physique and force then, please.
Just a question. Dr. Anki, you had a gun and you've just put it away.
Yes, it is now in the medical bag with medical instruments where it belongs, as a tool of preventative medicine.
Would you like me to service while in recompense?
Service for service, the gun is in your hand already.
Fine. Takes it over
Takes
to a
out another
table.
piece of shrapnel.
Takes it over to a table and just literally starts taking apart the revolver and his rifle and cleaning and getting all the residue and things off it.
Just appreciate how Dr. Anki and Alexander both have done with your shit, parental energy vibes. Just fine, I helped you, now you help me. Fucking get it over with. I love it so much.
I got 1 success.
Yep, that's enough. You sort of slide this skinny metal file into the tumblers of the lock without paying any attention as to where the tumblers are or anything else. You just find a sweet spot and jam it open. You hear the tumblers of the lock snap inside of the briefcase, jam out this metal filing, and lift it open. Inside, let me find my plot, is a very sort of well-maintained filing solution. It seems like there are 3 manila folders, very well-maintained, very new-looking, actually. It seems like these were barely just bought, maybe a month or so old, you're not sure, but they don't see any signs of wear and tear yet. In fact, they're not very full at all. One of them is very labeled The Society, the other one is labeled The Chess Club, and the other one is labeled The Rosenbergers.
And everyone will sort of see this almost like a disappointed look on my face, but then I'll turn it around and show everyone what's actually inside.
Why did you look so sad?
I expected more, I suppose.
Oh, we don't even know what this is. This could be better. Either
Very
way.
true.
Is there anything pertaining to our current situation, which is do we try and get rid of Mermaid and ruin the town? Or Do we just leave?
I would actually. And no, this is not an elaborate plan to end my life, Ingrid, before you speak.
Can we please stop asking? Like, you need to grasp what a threat is. I'm going to have you practice threats by threatening you more until you understand which of my words are threats.
I'd like to imagine that at this point Alexander's done servicing the gun and Uncle will just take it back, look over the line of threat and like, that sounds good. Put it back into the box like, yes, you do that.
Rosalka will be back in 30 days, give or take. Until then, it will be no use trying to find them.
Well, Zachariah has made an arrangement and he has used himself, I suppose, as a fulcrum around which to swing this entire sordid cycle. Which means that if we were to deal with him, again, he would bring a lot of things with him. Horrifying as that is, that might cause more harm than actually trying to fix the situation with what little knowledge that we have at hand. However, looks over to Father Pavel, looks over to traumatized Jeremiah, looks back to traumatized Father Pavel because I realized that was a bit of a cursory thing. It is not what one would necessarily consider the good thing, moral calculus aside.
You could say it's a problem we have a month to deal with.
Then let's go home. We can always read about it at home.
Okay.
We
Well-
can learn more things about mermaids and be more prepared.
And until then, I would at very least wish to suggest that if he could only just make it a lottery instead.
You could probably be writing a
Okay.
letter. Let's go.
Is anyone looking in the folders?
There are folders now. Yes.
Yeah. So there's 3 folders, isn't there? There's
Yeah.
the one about us, one about the chess club, and one about
Rosenbergers?
yes, that's the
So,
one.
what is in there? Anything to do with the mermaids?
I'm interested in the chess club as well
What is
because that's come up a couple of times now.
Did someone say Rosenberger? Because that rings a bell.
What kind of
Alrighty. So one by one, I will give you this as information after the game as well, so that you have it.
Mhm.
In the society folder, you found case notes covering the destruction of Castle Gillencreuts and a list of the people who Carl and Linnaeus met up with shortly before the tragedy. You recognize Olaus Klint's name among them, but no others. This folder contains a receipt similar to the one you found in the notes in the Witch Cat, an order of a large amount of flammable oil for shipping directly to Castle Gillencreuts, dated for 10 years ago, a month before the tragic fire. At the bottom of the receipt is a scrawled note that says, "Destroy this, L." In the chess club folder, there is even less than the other 2. It contains a couple of telegrams, both of which seem to be written in code. One of them simply says "King to Fianchetto," and the other one is just one word, "check." Also in this folder is a photo of Linnea Elfclint, the person who you got the deeds from for Castle Gillencreuts. On the back of the photo is the word "ringleader." There is also a written note which says, "It appears this mysterious chess club is a splinter group of that old society, hell-bent on finding out what caused their destruction. All but one overt member remains elusive." The third folder, the Rosenbergers, also seem to be a splinter group of this society. This folder has notes that talk about instances of very capable, confident people appearing at sites of suspected VAESEN and taking charge. It speaks of cold efficiency and lists a number of successful banishments of VAESEN supposedly carried out by these people.
This is interesting.
And troubling. It does suggest that there has been some amount of cooperation with regards to the destruction wrought upon our new home.
Maybe Jeremiah's... What was the relation again?
Mentor!
Ah, yes. Maybe Jeremiah's mentor is not
Dear
killed by
departed mentor.
Yes, that one. Maybe they weren't eaten by mermaid.
I am right here, you know.
So?
Yes.
He takes another long swig.
I'm just going to put the
Steady.
briefcase on the floor and just like lay on the bed and just massage my temple in the hope that Ingrid stops speaking.
I think this mystery is deeper than perhaps anyone first thought, dear Jerry.
Jeremias looks at you and just sort of shakes his head and recoils a bit. It's like, sure. Listen, I'm done with this place. I'm going to. I'll send payment for you to Teddy through his office. You can pick that up whenever. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done with this place.
Well, the longer you stay in this place, the more likely you are to be fed to the ocean. So
Yeah,
that is wise.
Apparently. And I'm not willing to take the risk. Either you're crazy people or you're correct. And frankly, I can't be asked to figure one out which way or the other. So
I lean in.
50-50
I lean
at
in.
this point.
Take back my bottle. Smile at him. Sometimes we are both.
yeah, that tracks. He sort of stands up and sort of tucks his sort of rows back into some semblance of order and says, well, good luck with whatever it is that you do. Thanks again. Thanks for trying. And he does leave, if you let him.
Wait!
Yes?
Can we have forwarding address?
What?
I want your address to send you letter.
God, all right. Well, if you send it care of the church at Fjallbacka, I'll circle back there in about a week and come back and get it.
All right, just make sure you're not anywhere near a new moon. You might not come back out of Fjallbacka.
Understood. And he does sort of sigh tiredly and go to leave, leaving you all alone in the room. Are you all sort of making you of a mind to make your way back home after this? Okay. The journey is once again long, arduous, and very, very boring. You trek your way back on the boat from the Wrecker Isle back to Fjallbacka, gather up your supplies, get on a stagecoach to Gotta Canal, get on a boat at Gotta Canal, and make your way up back again north, once again catching another stagecoach and back to Uppsala. By the time you get there, you are tired, you are cranky, and you have been cramped spaces for far too long. Yes, my dear. Hello.
Of me. Have they hired me?
Oh, I was going to invite you to tag along because obviously we need somebody who can handle a gun.
My rates are not cheap.
That's all right. There's food and board. That's what we're paying you. Come on.
Fine.
My rates are not cheap. What about sandwiches? Yeah, right.
These rates are not cheap,
Love a
but around these parts, life
I'm just going to.
You're coming with us.
I will state that I absolutely stole anything that those two people who were like brain dead had. Like, just robbed their wallets.
Yeah, fair. You get like a couple coins and some pocket lint.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. You also get a pistol and a shillelagh. So,
okay
you know,
with this.
not a bad life.
Ah, cool. A walrus penis bone. Awesome.
Yeah.
I can beat people.
Yeah. We love it. We love to see it.
love it.
You make your way back to Castle
weapon.
Fruits.
It's a real
And
thing.
once again, the roaring fireplace is there to greet you, and a full meal is laid out on the table as your steward has prepared for you after a couple of hours of bimbling around the castle and catching your bearings. As you all come back in, he takes your coats and it sort of ushers you all to sit down. Sophia is also there. She runs up and sort of hugs you all, seems very happy to see you. And when she notices that Esther isn't there, her face kind of falls a bit though, and before Algot Frisk can turn to Alexander to introduce himself, this sort of young brunette-haired girl sort of looks around at each of you with wide eyes and says, "Where's Esther?"
Oh, she ran away with a bookworm to get married and never be seen again.
Oh, she didn't want to say goodbye.
Oh, yes, she did. She told me to tell you goodbye.
Oh,
There were more words.
okay.
It was a whirlwind romance.
Oh,
It was instantaneous.
She
Could
also
not
told me
be-
to give you a hug, but because I don't smell, she said Anki has to give it to you instead.
oh, okay.
The what? Yes, of course.
Yep, Sophia very much runs at you, Dr. Anki, and gives you a big hug. And you can tell, like, you very uncomfortably and stiffly receive this small child's affection.
It is fine. I'm sure she will write.
Yeah. And as
Death
sort of-
glass Ingrid.
For sure.
I can't use cause fair in a party member, can I?
I mean, would you like to try?
Yeah.
Go on then.
I feel like Ingrid's been planning this conversation, like, all the way home. Like,
Yeah, I think Ingrid needs to make a fear test.
Yeah, Ingrid, roll logic or God, what?
Empathy, right?
Logic or empathy? Yes. Oh my God, I forgot the system completely there for a minute. Just bamboozled.
I got one success.
One success is enough. Okay.
Excellent.
You
Just
sort of-
Anki.
you glare at Ingrid, Dr. Anki, and Ingrid's just there like. As Sophia breaks away, there's like tears in her eyes, but she's very much trying not to cry. She sort of fiercely wipes them away and says, "Well, okay then. Okay, I understand." And
You know what, Sophia? I think that she would very much appreciate, in the event that she might come back up at some point, if perhaps you could have a play or something for her when she comes back.
I can do
She
that.
very much enjoyed those.
Okay. Yeah, I'll write a new one. Cool. And it's as the smile brightens again on this girl's face that Algot Frisk turns to you, Alexander. He says, yes, and who have we here? A new member of our little band.
Esther turned into a man.
Oh, well, I'm not sure that's quite the case. Alex, my good man, I'm sure you can speak for yourself.
My name is Sergeant Alexander Kruger. I am... Not his best way. Mercenary for this group now, as
well,
they required someone who can use a gun.
That is a fair point. Welcome to Castle Gillencroots. My name is Algot Frisk. If you will allow me to show you to your room, we will get your accommodations sorted. All right. And as sort of Algot Frisk leads Alexander away and towards the first floor of Castle Gillencroots, Sophia takes your hand, Ingrid, and looks at you all and says, I actually found something. Can I show you?
Yes, always. I love finding things.
Okay. It's something to do with what Esther found.
What did
a
Esther
while back
find?
You know the secret library.
All right.
Yeah, it's in there. And excitedly, she leads you all towards the library, and we will split into two scenes. As Alexander, you are led towards a.
Never mind. I just sent you a thing. It's fine.
As Alexander, you are led up a staircase and a twisted spiral stair up to an office. And it's sort of enclosed space, skinny bookshelves, a desk, a fireplace that's roaring in the corner, very kind of Spartan but comfortable room. And this man, Algot Frisk, sits down, invites you to sit opposite him.
How does this... Is he older man or is he about... Okay. I have been led to a random castle in the middle of, I assume, nowhere, by a group of people I don't know very well, and I've now been led into a room on my own with a man. So my hand is very, like, inside my jacket, clutching my own bayonet.
Yeah, of course.
And I have followed, because I know he can shoot someone.
Roll me a stealth check, please. So we will go with
Precision stealth, right?
Precision stealth, please. Yes.
Time to paddle it up. Oh, one success.
As you are going up this staircase, Dr. Anki, you sort of follow at a distance, and you see at one point as they both almost make it to this office, Algot does turn around to you and says, Sorry, Dr. Anki, if you could give myself and your new compatriot a moment, we must go over some details of his stay here, since he is not on the deeds.
Ah, of course. Please do not shoot our steward.
I had not planned on it.
Please do not give him cause to shoot you.
I'm sure I can handle myself.
It's a smarter order.
Right. Are you what would you like to do, Dr. Anki, as the two of them disappear into the office and shut the door behind them?
I guess technically I should ask about the condition I should have achieved through pushing my luck on the medicine.
Oh, right, yeah. For sure. Goodness, I'm terrible with remembering those today. I'm so sorry.
You were in a flow, and I didn't want to interrupt, but I haven't really done anything since then, so.
Fair. In that time, you became. I think enough of your sort of past has been brought up from the fight, and from having to do this kind of medicine where you're digging bullets out of people again. You have taken the angry condition. I think you are incensed, and I think you are trying to fight back the urge to lash out.
I keep digging lead out of people, and they keep running in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, back at the castle, back at home, I'm gonna swing by our dear Reverend, actually check up on him, and suggest a stiff drink in the lab.
Okay. Alexander, you are led into this office, gesture to sit down, and the door is shut behind you as this man sits opposite you. And
I sit.
Allow me to reintroduce myself, Alexander. You know me as L.
Do I?
Yes. And it is from me that you will receive your orders from here on out until it is time for me to make my exit.
Understandable.
Now, have you any questions as to your direction?
As I'm aware, make sure they don't die.
That would be helpful.
Simple. There is nothing else required of me.
You will also be tasked with gathering information. I expect it to be delivered back to me directly.
Would you like to know about the adventure that they had?
I would.
The Herring King is a mermaid child. Has made deals with the Rusalka that lives in the water. Every month it sacrifices a person for the herring. It is stoppable. It is capturable. And it will not be back for another month. Although, that being said, apparently the entirety of Sweden's economic fishing industry hinges on this one place. So perhaps it is necessary to keep it for now.
I see. Very good. Excellent work. I see why Olaus recommended you.
For my stay, I will be requiring a bathtub and a lot of salt.
I'm sure we can manage that. Now, if you have any other questions, we will be meeting in a similar manner, but in different stations around the castle. They cannot know.
Then they won't.
Good man. Now be on your way.
He will leave. Has he been given a room or?
Yeah, you've been shown a room on the lower floors that has been designated as yours.
Does it have a bathtub?
Yeah. Yeah,
Sweet.
it does.
I run a bath and pour a unreasonable amount of salt in it, and then get in it, and then that is how I sleep.
Okay, fantastic. Dr. Anki, you have sort of walked away from this door, made your way back into the castle proper and towards where you have last heard Father Pavel. You can hear Sophia talking excitedly as she leads the two of your compatriots towards the library, and you catch up with them just as they reach this place.
Oh, look. More knowledge that will surely break my mind.
Probably.
Yes, very astute, Sophia. Thank you.
Sorry, it just seems to be the theme, doesn't it?
Have you been well in our absence?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've just sort of been wandering around and sort of investigating. And it was as I was investigating that I found this thing. And I think you're all going to want to see it. It's really cool.
Then by all means.
Okay, come in. And she sort of continues grabbing at your hand, Ingrid, and leading you into the library. Again, you sort of reach past the book, sort of open the spinny latch, grab the lever, rank it open. You hear the cogs and gears turning as this bookshelf slides away to reveal the second secret library. Sophia goes in and leads you all inside. In the middle of the library here, there are a few plinths upon which particular books of repute have been held. Each book has a plaque explaining why it's here and not in one of the stacks, one due to the age of the paper, one due to particular prestige of the knowledge, and one because it's for the safety of the other books. It's to this book that Sophia goes to, lifting it from its plinth, opening it to a page marked by a red satin ribbon as a bookmark, and replacing it on the plinth. As soon as she does so, the grinding of rusted gears again begins to sound as the plinth slides beneath the floor, and the tiles behind it sink down with it, disappearing into the floor until the rearranging tiles and bricks form a staircase leading down. Traversing down it, as Sophia runs ahead of you excitedly, it doesn't take long before what lies beyond is revealed. It is a vast archive of occult knowledge. The walls are thick and show evidence of being lead-lined, but on occasion, the tomb-like brickwork is interspersed with holes that allow in light. Peering into one such hole, you can see a skinny channel lined with mirrors, funneling in from the rest of the castle some sort of light that the lanterns cast from around the building. There are curiosities and artifacts everywhere, neatly arranged on shelves and within display cabinets, all carefully labeled and with accompanying research beside it. You know that going through every single item in here would take months. Maybe longer. And Sophia sort of runs in and says, "Look what I found." I know. So cool. Although don't try and touch them because I did, and it bit me.
The what?
The skull. She points over at it, and it's like a aged, decrepit looking, elongated human skull with sort of a wolf-like snout on the front and amethyst embedded in its eyes where its sockets should be, and it's sort of like raised open at a waiting angle as you rush over to it. And Sophia says, "Don't put your hand in it, I'm serious, it really hurts." You boop it on the suit. You boop it on the suit. Please roll me physique and agility.
Can I help by trying to get her away from that?
Of course you can. Add an extra dice to your rolling.
It's like that game that you used to have as a kid where it'd be those like open-jawed snap things.
Well, that's the only one that counts.
Yep. Okay, you managed
Sorry,
to just get your...
I was muted for the stream. I'm so sorry. I rolled 3 1s and a 6.
You managed to just get your hand out of the way just in time with Dr. Anki's help pulling you back as this skull snaps shut, trying to get your fingers. And you say, "Oh," as it just skims the tips of your fingers. And Sophia goes,
And now who has self-harming tendencies, Ingrid?
"I told you."
My name is Ingrid.
And here we go again.
I say to the snappy skull.
Yeah, the voice in your head says, "I have tried to communicate with it. I believe it is deader than I am."
Oh, that's dead.
It's a little awkward, yes.
Do any of the rows of shelves have like names or like what the sections are or anything like that?
Yeah, there's sort of like an occultist section. There is a ancient paganism section. There is a sort of neo-Catholic artifacts section. There is sort of an ancient unidentified tombs section. There's all sorts down here, all sorts. Is there anything in particular you are looking for?
Is it all according to the demon decibel system?
Hell yeah.
I think there's a couple of things that Ingrid wants to look for in here. One of which is how to banish a mermaid, just in case she ever needs that nugget again. And the other of which is because the weird pretending to be magical on the beach works surprisingly well. So what if she actually was?
Okay.
Oh dear.
So you're looking for
your magic.
So you're looking for mermaid knowledge and occult artifacts.
Occult.
Okay, and
spells.
And Father Pavel, are you looking for anything in particular?
I don't think so. I think he would think that this is something that's good to know that is here, but once a situation comes up, we can look for what information we require. So his first thought's probably going to be to go upstairs and probably pour himself like 2 or 3 fingers of whiskey.
Oh, no, you don't. If you have nothing to find, then you can help me.
Okay, what are you looking for, Dr. Anki?
Hey, library, what's cracking?
What's cracking?
Amazing, I love you. What's cracking lacking? Great. Everyone who is looking around at the library for your various things, please make me a logic and learning roll.
And yes, I will assist.
Yeah, I'm stealing Father for this one.
Yeah.
Alexander knows so much about this, and he's just having a bath.
He's just having a bath. Yeah, he's just having a great time. You're chilling. You're relaxing.
Feet
slicing
against
yeah, you got a face mask going. It's all lovely. Oh my god.
Rubber ducky.
Finally. There's the rubber ducky.
Begins.
Bit shampoo in the beard, you know.
Ducky.
Conditioner. Deep conditioning treatment.
Man, a bath bomb.
Okay, he needs a ducky. It has like a mermaid's tail and everything or something. I don't know. 2 successes.
2 successes. And for Stacey, 1. Okay, cool. Ingrid, you find a fair amount on the study of mermaids. You find that in order to, there's not really a ritual to banish it. You know that beyond the sacrifice, there's not really much else. As long as it is given a victim every new moon, it will be appeased and leave the village or area that it is affecting alone. There isn't really any other way to deal with it apart from capture or trying to destroy it with metal weaponry, but that is a large Herculean effort, and if it is not destroyed properly and efficiently, the beast that it summons will wreak havoc on the local area. And that is all you find. Dr. Anki, however, you find you're looking for specific Kraken knowledge, aren't you?
Well, I was told it would kill me, so perhaps it can be persuaded not to.
Okay. You have a look through all these books and these archives, and you find a lot of artifacts, including one sort of calcified, humongous cross-section of a tentacle. At first, you think it's a tree trunk. Like, it has the rings of a huge tree trunk. You sort of try and pick it up, and it is heavy. It is heavy calcified flesh, and you sort of try and lift it and look around at it, and no, it's very much a cross section of a tentacle. Like, you've seen enough sort of dissected squids to know what this is, but it has calcified completely to bone. As you look around at it, you find an accompanying file by one Jason. I'm going to double check the name. It's one of my society buddies. You find a file by one Jacob Kelly describing exactly what a Kraken is. You find out that it is a humongous entity the size of a city made into flesh. It is gigantic and terrifying, and there is no way to fight it. If one rears its head, your best bet is to hide or run if you can. There is no way to go against it. It will kill you.
Encouraging.
Well, that only leads for different approaches.
It also has a documented account of this Jason Kelly's encounter with the Kraken, and it sort of tells of the desperation of the moment that it rears its head and seeing a battle taking place on shore in which a man and a woman were trying to fight this mermaid, and the moment in which the mermaid murdered one of them in cold blood, the other one tried to help, ended up also dying, and he describes seeing a small boy run through the tree line and then break out onto the shores just in time to see the woman collapse. He describes running to try and help the child, and then the Kraken appeared and slammed its tentacle down, and then he remembers nothing else until he woke up with nothing but destruction surrounding him.
Sounds like a bad day, to be honest.
Well, that was an account of abject terror that I will very much regret having read, but I'm happy that I did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Why must life be pain?
Why must life be pain? Dr. Anki's novel. Okay. As you all sort of make your way around this place, is there anything anyone else would like to do before we draw our session to a close today?
No.
Okay.
Not in this moment, no.
Okay, in that case, we will leave our intrepid Thursday's children as they once again recover from the adventures of another mystery into the deep mythic north. Alexander in a bathtub with lots of salt and some cucumbers and a face mask, the others bimbling around an occult library, Father Pavel drowning his sorrows in communion wine. And we once again draw back into the skies of Uppsala as an overcast day begins to dawn on the small northern community. And we will end it for today. Thank you so much, everyone who has watched and joined us in chat. We appreciate you very, very much. And I hope this has been fun for everyone who's been around. Thank you for sticking around. We love you all. You're all the best. And I am now going to go and probably pass out.
It's been an absolute delight.
Yay!
I am very happy to be here. I will be here as another time as well. I will be here forever. You're stuck with me now.
Yes, and thank you for Jairus for joining us. I'm super excited to have him along. This is going to be great. I'm super hyped. Things are coming. And also stick around, join us next Tuesday for the next edition of King Hunt, VAESEN Mystery, as we will be delving into a wicked secret. And let me tell you, y'all, this is my favorite fucking mystery in the entire goddamn session plan. I am so hyped to be running this. It has my favorite VAESEN in the entire goddamn book. So when I tell you I am hyped, when I tell you I cannot, when I tell you I could not be more excited, there are no words to which I cannot. I just can't. I'm so happy. All right. Yeah. So I will see you then, and it's gonna be some glorious nonsense. Until next time, sleep well. Don't let the bugbears get you, and we will be here same bat time, same bat channel next week. See you then, y'all.
Oh my gosh, he cheated the system. They can't hide under his bed because it's a bathtub.
He's a